Good afternoon, football fans. It's 6:40, which means it is the Tiger Nation pregame show. We are here at Schaefer Field for a monumental matchup in the Southeast Red District. The undefeated Stewartville Tigers against the undefeated 3-0 Pine Island Panthers. You couldn't pick a better matchup here for homecoming in Stewartville. Let's break it down and tell you what to expect tonight. Pine Island, how about this? They are ranked in the top 10 after only 2 wins last season. They have racked up 3 already, not having a game within 24 points. It's been incredible. They started out week 1 against St. Charles, won that game 30-6. Pine Island scored 23 points in the second quarter. They ran off with a 30-6 win over that St. Charles team. They outgained them 328-171. You got to watch out for this defense. We'll talk about them a little bit more coming up. Week 2, Pine Island scored 1 touchdown in each of the four quarters, and the defense held strong 26-0 against Lake City. Nick Tyne, who you're going to hear a name probably mentioned quite a bit tonight, 14 carries, 53 yards, and a touchdown, an interception, and he had a 75-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Defense, listen to this. They forced 3 straight 3-and-outs to start the game, then 2 straight interceptions in the first half. In the second half, they closed the game with 4 consecutive turnovers on downs, all inside the Pine Island 33. They bend, but they do not break. Drew Saylor was fantastic against Lake City, 5 catches for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. Their Week 3 game last week got them to this undefeated record coming into Stewartville. They scored 22 points in the first quarter, Pine Island did. They led 29-6 at halftime against Red Wing. They won 36-14 defense. 200 yards allowed, 6 sacks, a safety, a fumble recovery. They are fantastic, and they are led by a guy named Blake Schiltz going to North Dakota State next year. He is a big dude, and you got to watch out for him. He is, I got it here, 6'3", 225 pounds. You're going to see him number 18 on the field. He is a senior, like I said, committed already. That Nick Tyne, one of their best athletes, just a junior out of the backfield, 5'10", 160 pounds. When you talk about his season stats, 40 carries, 249 yards, 5 touchdowns, 480 all-purpose yards. He has 2 kick returns for a touchdown, including a 96-yarder last week. He also has a receiving touchdown. He was KTTC Athlete of the Week for this past week, so watch out for number 0. Drew Saylor, their top wide receiver, 9 catches, 267 yards, 5 touchdowns. He has 343 all-purpose yards. That is going to be a guy you're going to need to watch Saylor for a number 3. Their other wide receiver, 6'3", Owen Harstad. He's a junior. And then Corin Pike, you'll see him at safety. He'll try to be, watching Vince Wellick's eyes, who we'll talk about in a little bit. Their defense runs a 4-2-5, kind of 4-3 setup, depending on who they match up against. We'll see what they run against Stewartville, who we'll talk about a little bit. In terms of offense, a lot of times 2 wideouts split to either side. Nick Tyne in the backfield, Blake Schiltz either at fullback or running kind of an H-back tight end kind of look. The funny thing is they have 2 quarterbacks they switch back and forth from. Senior, number 8, Brandon Week, 6'2", 195 pounds. He's a southpaw. He's a lefty. And from what I hear, it's his first season of varsity football. He is a hurler on their baseball team, though, committed to South Dakota State. He sits in the, mid-80s for fastball velocity. Well, he's a natural gunslinger out on the field. Drew Saylor has really benefited from that. Another guy that might be under center, right-hander, junior, number 6, Alex Knox. He's another guy that we may see in the backfield. They like to switch it up. So Pine Island will try to keep it, on the ground for the most part. 70% of their calls usually on the ground. So Stewartville will have to have a good, solid defensive up front, the front 7. But like I said, that Brandon Week, he can really sling it. So our cornerbacks, Isaac Larson, we don't know if it's going to be, Parker Wong and Jace Klug. We mix it up there in the defensive backfield to keep guys fresh, but they can do either. They can run the ball with Tyne, or they can get it out of the backfield and throw it down the field, down the corner. They're going to be taking on our Stewartville Tigers, ranked number 1 in the state, the defending state champions. They are 3-0 as well. A little bit different gauntlet to start the season than what Pine Island had to go through. Waseca in week 1 We were down 6-0 after the first quarter. We scored 24 unanswered points to win that game, 24-6. Dylan Scanlon was fantastic, 20 carries, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. Malik Abdi, 14 carries, 97 rush yards, a touchdown. Vince Wellick, 10 for 13, managed the game really well with that really strong secondary that Waseca has. He was 10 for 13, 50 yards, but made no mistakes and just methodically got us down the field. Parker Wong and 6 catches for 37 yards. Then we were on the road at Cassimanorville. Hopefully you tuned in to KTTC's matchup, or broadcast, I should say. Got to be invited by Darren Overton and joined their broadcast. It was a lot of fun, especially because Stewartville absolutely stomped them. 48-6 was final score. We led Cassimanorville 20-6 at half, scored 28 in the second half. Like I said, 48-6 was the final. We had 20 first downs to 8 of Cassimanorville, 391 total yards to 135 from the Comets. Dylan Scanlon, again, over the century mark, 9 carries, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Malik Abdi, our other running back, 14 carries, 73 yards, and a touchdown. Vince Wellick, it was his coming out party. He had 178 yards passing, 4 touchdown throws. He dropped a few in the bucket. Jace Klug, 5 catches, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns. Parker Wongan, 4 catches, 20 yards, and a touchdown. Caleb Bancroft had a couple highlight reel catches, 2 catches, 53 yards, and a touchdown. Mickey Height, a catch for 27 yards. That put us at 2-0. We were on the road again last week in Zumbrota-Mazeppa. It was a little uncharacteristic first quarter as it was scoreless through the first 12 minutes. Well, how about this? Stewartville scored 38 points in 8 minutes in the second quarter, won 51-0 against Zumbrota-Mazeppa. 276 yards to only 75 from Zumbrota-Mazeppa. 259 yards on the ground, and it was led by Dylan Scanlon with video game numbers. 6 carries, 150 yards, and a touchdown. Malik Abdi, 6 carries, 51 yards, and a touchdown. Vince Wellick, though, he also was throwing the ball, 117 yards on 7 of 14, 3 touchdowns, 2 of those to Parker Wong, and Parker Wong finished the day 4 catches, 87 yards, 3 total touchdowns, a 26 and 25-yard reception, 11-yard rush, and then Lincoln Doobie led the defense with 2 sacks. Our defense has been playing fantastic. Last year, we had the number 1 scoring defense in all of 3A. And Coach Muller said on his show, Tuesdays with Muller, early on in the season, we are going to need to lean on that defense, and they've done just that as they are only allowing 4 points per game. They're going to see if they can stop Nick Tyne and this dangerous Pine Island offense who's averaging 31 points a game. And don't sleep on Pine Island's defense. Excuse me. 7 points a game is all they're allowing. So we'll see if Stewartville is able to move the ball with the athletes that they run, especially in the back half of their defense. What we see here on the field right now, it was teacher appreciation. That's why you're only hearing me talk, because Coach Meyer was down there, nominated by our friend Ridge Hatz, a good friend of the show. So not only has he been, not only has Coach Meyer been recognized in week 1 against Waseca as the head coach for the 2014 section champions. They were bringing him back for a 10-year anniversary. Now he comes back and he's nominated as one of the impact teachers for our senior class. And so very proud of him. He's going to be back up at the booth. Slowly, it looks like he's walking. He's not even jogging for me, but that's okay. We got 11 minutes and 20 seconds left before this game starts. Plenty of time. What you want to look for today in terms of the Pine Island offense is, are they going to turn the ball over? As I've watched them the last 3 weeks, they have a tendency to throw the ball up for grabs down the sideline, and I think that could be dangerous when you talk about the defensive backs that Stewartville runs out there, especially with the ball hawks that are the safeties. Parker Wong and Jace Klug, you're talking about 2 guys that run over 22 miles an hour. They're both over 6'3" tall. They can jump out of the gym. They are very athletic. They get great reads on the ball. Those are going to be dangerous throws. However, we've also seen Pine Island scheme very well, send their receivers on slants, try to crash the middle, and you'll see Nick Tyne come out of the backfield on those wheel routes and see if they can get him one-on-one in the open field, because that is a tough kid to bring down. For Stewartville's offense, I have to imagine with how good the Big Cats have been this year that they're going to establish the run before asking Wellick to drop back and pass. I think they're going to establish Malik Abdi and Dylan Scanlon. Dylan Scanlon coming into this game, 3 straight games over 100 yards. He has been incredible taking over for the graduated Carter Miller. We have some wide receivers. Jace Klug had 2 touchdowns against Cassimanorville. Caleb Bancroft, his coming out party against the Comets. He had 2 big catches for a touchdown. Parker Wongan, he's our career touchdown receptions leader, and he's only 3 games into his senior year. So with those 3 guys, I think you're going to see the run established, try to free up, maybe get some one-on-one looks with Parker Wong. And I'm not trying to cry. I'm trying to hold back a cough. I'm also joined in the booth by a guy that just came off the field. Week 1, like I said, he was out there as a 10-year anniversary for our section championship in 2010. He took us to the Final Four against Becker. This year, nominated for what he does in the classroom. No better guy, Coach Aaron Meyer. Thanks for joining the Tiger Nation pregame show. I've been trying to carry without you, but you tell me what you think about this Pine Island-Stewartville matchup. 2 undefeated teams. It will set the winner on a pathway to potentially win the Southeast Red District.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this. I think everybody in Pine Island right now is also curious to see how they're going to come out and play against last year's defending state champions here. So they've looked really good in the last couple games. Their defense looks solid. The offense is scoring big play touchdowns, and so I just think it's going to be a heck of a game tonight with both teams able to kind of measure themselves tonight on how things fall. So it should be a great game.
Yeah, we'll see. What do you think Coach Schultz is going to need to do when you look at this defense? I mean, our defensive front is unbelievable with Schneider and Bancroft at the ends. You got Ridge Hatz and Lincoln Doobie at defensive tackle. And then I'm always excited about our linebackers. You got Mickey Height, you got Zeke Spencer, and you got Justice Dino running back there. That front seven is so strong. How do you think Coach Schultz is going to establish a run game with Nick Tyne?
Yeah.
Like, what would you try to do? Do you try to get to the edge? Do you try to get him out in space?
I think you have to try it. We saw in week 1, we saw Wasika try it, right? They were trying to get to the edges. Everything they did was outside the hash marks, and they had very little success doing that, besides a few bubble screens and some, kind of just out routes. But tonight, I think Pine Island here has a little better running game and maybe trust their linemen a little bit more. So I think they will try. I think they're going to also have to try up the middle a little bit. But with Schultz at the fullback position, he can certainly meet our linebackers in the hole, and perhaps the inside game will be there tonight for Pine Island. It'll be fun to see.
Yeah, Blake Schultz, he's a game changer. His size and just his versatility and the way he commands that defense at the linebacker position. You'll definitely see a lot of number 18 out there. Number 0 is the other guy that we talk about. Over-under coach, Dylan Scanlon. He's been phenomenal this year at running back for Stewartville. 3 straight games over 100 yards. Do you think they get him that 100, that century mark tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always going to go over because I feel like there's at least one 40-yard play in there. If he breaks it, we know that he's going to be pretty hard to catch. I don't know if you've seen the vests there, the little chips that some of these guys are wearing are measuring their miles per hour, and Dylan's been hitting over 20 every single week that he plays. And that's just incredible. He's one of the fastest guys in southeast Minnesota. And when he does find a crease, he's just gone. So I would go the over on the 100 yards for Scanlon.
And how about Parker Wong and Jace Klug? Yes or no interception tonight?
I'm going to say yes. That's the one thing that I'm curious about. Pine Island has been throwing that, we call it the 9 ball, the deep ball down the sidelines, and they've been doing so much of it. And I just feel like that's going to be one thing that Coach Hain has been drilling all week is let's take that away. And if a couple of those go up, I could see Klug or Wangen coming down with the ball.
Well, that's going to do it here. You see Stewartville just came on the field. Pine Island already ready across the field. Coach Meyer and I are going to step away, allow the national anthem to be played, and then we'll be back in just a few minutes to bring you this huge matchup between the Pine Island Panthers and the Stewartville Tigers. I'm Adam Peterson. For Coach Meyer, we'll catch you in about 5 minutes. Good evening, football fans, and welcome to Schaefer Field, the site of tonight's monumental matchup. You know, every once in a while in the high school football universe, the stars align, and it happens tonight where two top teams meet up in the regular season with a lot on the line. You talk about the 3-0 Pine Island Panthers coming into the game ranked number 7 in the state, taking on the defending state champion for Class 3A and number 1 ranked team in Minnesota, the Stewartville Tigers. And you see Coach Muller getting them pumped up right now in the middle of the field as they're going to be ready to take on this talented Pine Island team. We are in the Dan Simmons broadcast booth. I'm Adam Peterson, and as always, my color guy, nobody better in the business, Coach Aaron Meyer. Coach, how excited are you for this battle of two undefeated teams?
Well, number one, I'm excited to be back. With the last 2 weeks being on the road, it's just fun to call another game with you here. But the fact that we get a top 10 matchup here is just unbelievable. So can't wait to call it. I'm super excited to see how some of the X's and O's play out tonight. And, yeah, I just can't wait for that kickoff. Here we go.
So Pine Island, like we said, coming in at 3-0. If you tuned into the Tiger Nation pregame show, you've already heard this, but they rattled off wins over St. Charles, Lake City, and Red Wing. That's what sets up this big matchup. Coach Schiltz doing a fantastic job. Last season, just 2 wins. They had a heartbreaker to Lake City in the playoffs. Well, they avenged that loss in week 2, 26-0, left no doubt. They haven't had a close game yet. Tonight, they're probably going to get their toughest matchup of the season, save for their season finale at Caledonia. Probably 2 of the toughest games on their schedule. Stewartville coming in after a little bit different start to the season. They got challenged early and often. Waseca, who's just been dominating teams since they lost to Stewartville. We beat them in week 1. Then Caston Manorville, 48-6. We took care of the 4A team on the road. And then last week, 51-0 against Sabroda Mazeppa. As you see, Stewartville is going to be kicking off. Parker Wangen's going to be kicking off for them. And back to receive is the dangerous returner, Nick Tyne. He's housed 2 kickoff returns, 4 touchdowns. So I imagine that Stewartville's going to keep it short. Back there with them, Abe Ferber on the far side, number 44 on the near side, Mason Jasperson. I would imagine that one of those 2 guys may get this ball because you want to keep it away from Tyne as much as you can. Big thanks to Todd Lechtenberg for helping us out on the video. So any complaints, I'll get you his phone number, email address. But if it's a good job, we'll get you his Venmo. As Wangen's going to kick that one, he is going to take it deep. Jasperson's going to field that one at about his own 8-yard line. He's going to go to the middle. And Zeke Spencer, our middle linebacker, is already jacked up, Coach. You love to see that. Zeke Spencer loves to set that tone early and often.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of him tonight. I have a hunch that he'll know Blake Shields pretty well by the end of the night here, as those 2 are going to be meeting in a hole time and time again as we see the running game unfold for Pine Island here.
You talk about 2 guys that play extremely physical. Blake Schiltz for Pine Island, Zeke Spencer for Stewartville. Out comes Pine Island at quarterback. We talked about it. Brandon Week, the lefty, 6'2", 200-pound senior, known better for what he does on the mound for Pine Island baseball. But he's in the backfield with Tyne split wide. On either side, Harstad and Saylor. There's a pitch to the outside. We talked about how they'd like to go sideline to sideline, try to get him in space. But Wangen comes up and makes the tackle from his safety position.
And right away there, just kind of noticing Schiltz sliding out across the formation, leading the way on the toss, and he did a really nice job of sealing his guy inside. A good 4.5, 5 yards to start the game for Pine Island. They'll take that all night if they can get it.
Absolutely. If you can get it into second and manageable, you get 2 downs, especially deep in your own territory. You saw Tyne's speed there. If he can get to the edge, we're going to have to work hard to set that boundary and force him back inside to our linebackers. So Harstad on the far side, Saylor on the near side, Jasperson is behind Week. There goes Schiltz in motion. Oh, the ball is loose! Here comes Grayson Schneider, he scoops it up! He gets tackled at the 3, but we got the turnover chain coming out after only 2 plays for the Gold Rush, baby! Boy, he dropped back to pass, and we had all sorts of pressure coming up the middle. I don't know if it was Doobie. I don't know if it was Hats, but either way, that ball ended up on the ground, and Grayson Schneider's eyes got big like a Thanksgiving dinner, Coach. He picked that up and was hoping to scoop and score.
Yeah, it looked like nobody knew the ball was out until Grayson finally spotted it bouncing around behind the QB there. As you mentioned, I couldn't tell who got to the quarterback right away, but what a good penetration to start the game, and to get the ball out right away is just a huge start for Stewartville's defense.
So here comes the play. A lot of times in a turnover deep in the other team's territory, you see Coach Muller likes to take a shot at the end zone first play. Anything like 30-yard line and in. So you wonder if we're going to see Dylan Scanlon just run it off tackle, maybe a sprint to the right edge. Oh, he chooses to cut it up. A great play there by number 4, Corin Pike. I'm surprised that Scanlon didn't just use his speed and make it a foot race to the pylon.
Yeah, well, with Dino and Schneider in there leading the way, you probably just feel like you're pretty safe running behind those guys. But you're right, it did look like there was maybe a race to the pylon might have been the way to score. But still picked up 2.5 down to the 5-yard line.
So 2nd and goal, and we got the Moose package in there. Dino and Schneider in front of Scanlon, Wellick under center. It's a jab step counter to the left side. Jasperson comes in on the tackle, and we work our way down to about the 1. Here I'm talking about how Coach Muller loves to take a shot, and he's just methodically marching 6 or 7 yards.
Well, and coaches, he's real good at tendencies. He knows if after a turnover he's been going long and been going for the end zone, maybe it's time to button it up a little bit. So I know Coach is always looking at tendencies and how can he break those.
Here's the handoff to Scanlon, right up the middle, and there's a touchdown for Stewartville as the homecoming crowd, which is absolutely packed, likes to see that after the huge fumble inside our own 10-yard line. Stewartville takes advantage on 3 running plays.
And the offensive line has to feel real good after not getting the first couple in, just punching it in from 2.5 yards out. A great start for the Stewartville Tigers, and especially just being able to be physical and set the tone early in the trenches. On the defensive side, getting the strip sack, and then on the offensive side, from 7.5 yards out, to be able to punch it in is great.
Oh, they send Larson in motion. It's a direct snap to him. He's going to throw it up. All sorts of contact as, Jace Klug was the one on the snap. He was throwing it to Larson. They caught me off guard. I didn't think they'd try to go for 2 that early in the game. They did it last week against Sabrota Mazeppa. But I thought that, you might want to keep some of those in your back pocket. You don't want to show them everything you got.
I think, Coach May and Coach Muller, I kind of get a big kick out of it. I love it, to be honest. And I'm thinking, if you're the opponent getting ready for Stewartville, how much of your practice time are you putting into defending the 2-point conversion or the swinging gate setup that we start out in? And I just can't imagine. It would just be a nightmare to try to figure out how much time do we put into all the different plays that we've seen out of that look.
So a Scanlon 1-yard touchdown run. The 2-point conversion was no good as nothing went correct on that particular play. 6-0 Stewartville, and Pine Island will receive the kickoff for the second time in about, 10 world minutes. I wouldn't say game minutes because it's only been 2. And you're going to see the same guys back. Tyne, Ferber, and Jasperson. I believe Gavin Twaddle, their running back, number 5, is out with an ankle injury. Big shout out to one of my Pine Island buddies, Joe. Hope he's watching at home. Got some inside info, at least on how to pronounce all the names. So got to give a shout out there. I know week 1, Coach Wendland helped me out with all the Wasika stuff. I'd never like to say names incorrectly if I can help it. And Wangen's going to kick this one off. Same spot. But they're going to let Tyne catch this one at about his 8-yard line. He's going to break it to the right. He slows him down, and Zeke Spencer's coming over the top, but give credit to number 41 there, Simon Emanuel. He was the first guy on pursuit. He slowed Tyne down enough that the cavalry came and closed in on him, but Tyne was able to get it to about the 21-yard line, maybe? 22 they're going to mark it at.
Yeah, real good job for the second kickoff in a row of all 11 guys running their lanes and working as a team, getting the unit done. We see Zeke Spencer making those tackles, but it's a team effort there, funneling them to Zeke.
So The ref's going to call his time. I don't know if it's an equipment issue. It looks like it. I think when Tyne got shirt tackled, his back plate and everything got a little messed up. I think they're just asking him to go out and fix it. So Jasperson will come on to spell Tyne. Week is telling him to play in the backfield. Do they want to? A little bit of confusion here. I wish they'd turn the microphone on and let the crowd know what's going on. That's what we pay those big bucks for,
That's
Coach.
True. We got the technology.
Oh, so Tyne does come back in. They allowed him to come back. So Week in the backfield with Tyne. Schultz goes in motion to the far side. Give to the Tyne off left tackle, and boy, there's about 6 or 7 guys there. One, Grayson Schneider, the Montana State commit, was the guy that brought him down. Tyne, no gain as he just made it back to the line of scrimmage. Now 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, Lincoln Doobie did a real nice job there of shedding his block as well and getting ahead in there. I'm going to be real curious to see the interior of the Stewartville defensive line and if the Panther offensive line can hold up inside.
Yeah, especially number 50. You see him out there. Alden Smith, he's a junior. I believe he's like 5'9", 170. If you're going up against a guy like Ridge Hatz, who's what, 6'3", 260 maybe, and he can run. He's, what is he, 2nd or 3rd on the team in terms of Newtons produced when you talk about max speed and his how much he weighs. So, yeah, that interior, and Lincoln Doobie played outstanding last week against Zembroda Mazeppa. That guy's motor is always running. As Week as in the shotgun, Tyne to his right. Got 2 wide receivers on the near side, 1 on the far side. Week's going to throw that one out to Tyne, but there's Mickey Height with the fancy green shoes as he just gets on his back and rides him to the ground. It's homecoming. Piggyback rides are free, I guess. It's going to be 3rd down and about 8. This is what we talked about. Stewartville wants this. The first series, 2nd down and 5, 2nd down and 4. That's what Pine Island wants. Stewartville wants to make it 3rd and long and make them try to throw it up in the air. Let our athletic defensive backs potentially go back and make a game-changing play.
And I think just to kind of further the point of the the line situation here early on is how much time is Pine Island going to have to throw those deep balls that they've been so good at all season long. That'll be interesting to kind of keep an eye on as well. How much time are they going to get to throw that ball? 3, 4, 5 seconds?
Can't imagine it too much. Number 51 comes in there, Carson Goodman. He's been a surprise addition to this defensive line rotation. Coming off the edges, we got Bancroft on the far side, Grayson Schneider on the near side. They pitch it out to Tyne, trying to get outside. He does get to the edge, and he's going to win the foot race to the 1st down marker. Great play there. I don't know who was sealing, if that was Schultz on the far side, but that ability to get the edge and let Tyne use his speed to pick up the 7 or 8 yards that they needed. Perfect play call there.
Yeah, and Tyne's been real impressive early, scooting to the edge, and then even on the last little swing pass, the focus on the ball, and then putting a pretty good move on Mickey Height. 2 good football players there, kind of going one-on-one in the open field. But a good play call there to, again, break a tendency, 3rd and 8. You'd think maybe pass, but they just go to the toss play and pick up a 1st down.
So Drew Saylor on the near side. Luke Eastman has him one-on-one, but Jace Klug, you can see, kind of shading at the safety position over the top. Saylor, Week in the shotgun. Jasperson next to him. Schultz goes in motion. We've seen that a couple times. He comes back almost like a counter. And great play there by Zeke Spencer. Comes flying through to make the play.
Counterplay is something that Pine Island has run well in the past couple weeks. It was pretty successful against Lake City. The one thing that's going to be more challenging for Pine Island tonight is when their linemen are pulling, there's just so much speed on the Stewartville defense. That I can see the counter getting tracked down from behind more often than maybe I saw it in the Lake City film.
Especially with how fast Bancroft and Schneider are coming off that defensive end, that if they cut down the line and run parallel with it, they might be able to snag it down. Now they got the I formation. Schultz and Jasperson in the backfield. Weak under center. They tried to do a hard count there. Good discipline by Stewartville. They run it off left tackle. And Caleb Bancroft says, "You're going nowhere there." Parker Wangen coming in from that safety spot. We've seen him do that a couple times for run support. 3rd down and what, 7, Coach?
Looks like 3rd and 7. Last time they went toss. Probably not again. Coach Haynes probably thinking they got to throw it at some point. They have yet to put the ball in the air besides the swing pass. He's probably dialing something up. thinking about that passing situation here.
So 3rd down and 7, 6:18 to go in the first quarter. Stewartville up 6-0. We'll probably be calling the scores and times a little bit more because on YouTube you won't be able to see that. On Huddle, if you're listening on that, I believe there is a second camera. Weak under center, I formation. They're going to call a timeout. Pine Island doesn't like that matchup, and they see, down 6-0, every possession is going to count because Stewartville's offense is so tough to stop, and you want to make sure that you have the right play call in there.
So just an interesting thought from me up here. It's 3rd and 7. They go under center with twin receivers to the sideline, to the short side of the field. There's just nowhere to work over there, and I'm wondering if they come out, maybe have the same look, but put the receivers over here where they have more space to run their routes or whatever. I found it interesting that they were burying the receivers into the boundary there, not what you typically do on a passing down.
Yeah, I want to take this first time out moment to give a big shout out to somebody that supported this broadcast. Warren Hogger, huge help to this broadcast. Somebody that's been a supporter financially to allow us to get these new microphones, a new mixer, the stuff that we need to set up last year. I think it was last year, the year before, he was able to get it for us. We got a nice case and everything. If you're out there listening, Warren, we appreciate what you do for us in the support of Stewartville football and Stewartville sports in general. So I do want to give a big shout out to you and say thanks for the support, as well as everybody that's tuning in and supporting both these teams, whether you're a Pine Island fan or Stewartville fan. This is the one you want to watch. This Week 4 matchup, somebody's has got to go. 2 undefeated teams as Week is back in the shotgun. You send Schultz in motion to this side. They're going to do a fake toss. He's going to throw that one up in the air, and we talked about how dangerous it is. He couldn't have thrown a better ball. Week just out of the grasp of Owen Harstead, number 1, off the fingertips, but Harstead got a step on our defensive back. And Wangen was a little late coming over to help.
And what a pass. That thing was up there and dropped right on his fingertips. A huge play opportunity there for Pine Island. Just missed.
You underthrow that ball, it's probably going the other way. So he put it where he needed to put it. So give Week a lot of credit for the touch that he showed, not just a strong arm.
Yeah, and the trust in his receiver to run underneath it. He just kind of put that thing up there, 30 yards, 35 yards down the field. Just a beautiful toss.
So 5:58 to go in the first quarter. This will be the first punt as the first drive for Pine Island ended with a fumble. 38, Evan Johnson puts that one away. Dylan Hoot is going to take the return. He breaks the first tackle trying to get around to the sideline because if he gets into the open air, there's not many people faster on this football field than Dylan Hoot.
Yeah, Hoot's had some amazing punt returns in the last couple games on the road. Just huge yardage that he's been picking up. And unfortunately, a couple penalties here and there that have brought the ball back. But just a fearless returner back there and has a little wiggle to him and just the courage to catch the ball when there's 2 or 3 guys coming at you. It's a fun thing to see. We've had really good punt returners from Carter Miller to Owen Sickink and now Dylan Hoot. It's fun to watch.
Vince Wellick in that pistol formation. He's got Malik Abdi behind him. 2 wide receivers on the far side. That's going to be Jace Klug and Parker Wangen. Dylan Hoot is your H-back. Caleb Bancroft at the near side tight end. They look to the sideline to get their final play call. Vince Wellick, the junior quarterback, has improved every single week. He's going to fake the handoff to Abdi, throw a quick one to Dylan Hoot, and Hoot gets about 10 1/2 yards, enough to move the sticks. You talk about Dylan Hoot and how bad you feel for him. He housed the punt return against Waseca. It got called back on, 175 yards on penalties. Mm-hmm. And then he had the touchdown last week against Zumbrota Mazeppa on a little flare out. Great blocking out front. I believe we got called on a hold. That came back. Then he almost housed a punt against Zumbrota Mazeppa. Got stopped at the 8-yard line. Yeah. He almost feels like the Blake Turner from last year where Turner kept going out at the 2-yard line. The now Kansas State Wildcat. I'm going to get some flack for that. Trips bunch to the left. They're going to hand that one to Abdi. He's following Lincoln Doobie out there. Doobie's just trying to find somebody to block. And Jasperson, number 44, and number 18, Blake Schultz, are the 2 on the stop as Scanlon didn't really have anywhere to go. He was trying to pick at what point do I turn it upfield. and there was just nothing there. Even Lincoln Doobie pulling from that right guard position, you could see him trying to find who's here to block.
Yeah.
And it's like Pine Island came in late and just suffocated that play.
Real good job. The defensive line stretched it out, and the linebackers filled the open windows, and there was really nowhere for him to go. So Abdi had to just find the best situation was to get it back to the line of scrimmage.
Jasperson going off the field now. You wonder if they are just asking the athletic trainer to check him or if it's an equipment issue. Nick Tyne is going to come on to replace him. In terms of the guys up front, you got number 2, Talon Bond, 6'1", 190-pound junior. He's the near side defensive end. On the far side, I believe it's Cody Schultz, the sophomore brother to Blake, 6'2", 205. In the middle, you got Andrew Edwards and Braxton Moss. Actually, I don't know if Moss is out there on this play. It's actually 66. Oh, it is Moss. I was right.
You're always right, Adam.
Yeah. Don't tell Crystal that. Schultz at the linebacker position, as is number 23, Jackson Hudson. 2nd down and 10. Wellick is going to fake the handoff. He's going to drop back to pass. Has a ball, go right through the fingertips of the Pine Island player. I believe that was Cooper Rutten. It was. Boy, that ball just sailed on him. He was intending it for Parker Wangen, who sat down in the middle of that zone. It was about 3 or 4 yards to the left and a little bit high. Luckily for us, it went right through the fingertips of Rutten. That would have been a big play for Pine Island to be able to get the turnover. You want to talk about staying with a really quality team? You have to win the turnover battle. Yeah,
and making the big plays when the opportunities arise, and that's 2 now where the ball's just slipped through the fingers of the Pine Island Panthers.
3rd down and 10 at the Pine Island 47-yard line. Wellick's going to roll to the right. Abdi, good blitz pick up there. That ball is up in the air, and great catch there by Parker Wangen on the sideline. You saw him put it up a little bit higher. Oh, are they saying no catch? They said he was bobbling it as he went out.
Must have been on the sideline. I got to tell you, though, I just love how Vince Wellick, after throwing one that goes off of the defensive back's hands, he just steps up and rips the next one right on target, a little bit outside maybe so the receiver couldn't stay in, but I just love the confidence to get back in there and rip it again.
4th down and 10 from the Pine Island 47-yard line, and we're going to see Parker Wangen punt this one away. I can't even tell you how many punts he's had this year. It can't be many.
It's not many. Pine Island's defense did a great job in coverage there 2 times. They have a real good – their linebackers do such a good job at dropping and making the windows smaller than they need to be.
Wangen puts that one a mile in the air. Drew Saylor's already calling for the fair catch. He's going to let that one go. Are we going to get it before it gets in the end zone? Oh, I think he stepped on the line just before he's able to pat it back in. I believe that's Sawyer Wood, and it was number 4, Sawyer Wood. Tried to get it before it popped into the end zone, but I believe he stepped in the end zone, so automatic touchback. You talk about that defense where they won that drive, 1st down. They stopped Dylan Scanlon coming off tackle to the left side. All of a sudden it makes it 2nd and 3rd and 10 rather than 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3, which is much more manageable, especially on their side of the field. Then Coach Muller might start thinking, hey, maybe I do go for it on 4th down. When it's 4th and 10, no, he's kicking that away.
Yeah, it's a really good point. 1st down was a key play for the Panthers.
So Carson Jansen now on this left defensive end spot. He comes in to spell Caleb Bancroft. He played a really solid game against Wasika, had that interception that essentially turned around the entire momentum against the Blue Jays. As they're going to hand that one off to Tyne. He cuts back. He broke about 2 or 3 tackles. They just couldn't get their arms around him. A lot of hands trying to grab him, but no arms could wrap around as Tyne scurries for about a 5-yard gain. Is now 2nd and 5.
And that's about the 2nd or 3rd time where I've seen Tyne kind of lean his upper body into the tackler and keeps his legs moving on the outside, on the outskirts. So just tough to bring down. Pretty impressive to see how he's able to elude the tacklers.
Coach Schultz and Pine Island have to be so excited that they have a couple of their guys back. You talk about Schultz was out with an injury last year. Tyne tried to play through, I believe, a banged-up knee. Now both healthy. Huge impact players. 2nd down and 5, 4:04 to go in the 1st quarter. Stewartville up 6-0. So this is Alex Knox in the backfield, as the quarterback position now. As they rotate, he's a righty. He's going to throw it out. Quick one. Oh, my goodness, what a play there. Oh, Luke Eastman. I believe he saw that coming, and he was on it. So fast, Coach.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of teams trying that little bubble or the outside screen there, and it's worked with very little success. Waseca had a couple good ones, I guess, but I think a lot of teams feel like going to the outside is the place to go. But with all the speed and I think these corners and safeties are better than people maybe give them credit for early in the season.
So a loss of about 3 yards. It's now third down, and I'll say a long 8. I don't know if Slim Elton's right on over there. He's like, close enough. At the down marker position, as long as you're close. Knox in the backfield, tying to his near side. We got 2 wide receivers on this side. Knox is going to drop back, throw that one over the middle. It's off the hands of Schultz. Takes off Justice Dino's helmet. But he's okay. That is a big body to try to defend.
Yeah.
Boy, Knox let that one fly right down the middle. There was double coverage. He tried to fit it in a tight window, and they're unable to come down with it. And now Stewartville holds for a 3-and-out after the punt. And we'll see Pine Island kick this one away, and maybe Dylan Hoot can get to that sideline and get the blocking out in front of him. Maybe they made some adjustments. I'll say if there's one area for Stewartville that they really needed to clean up, if you talk about the Waseca penalties on our punt returns, or you talk about Cassimanorville's ability to return it on kickoffs, our special teams kind of needs to tighten it up. And this might be the perfect time to say, hey, this is the special teams you all know and love. Oh my gosh, Grayson Schneider just flattened a guy as he was coming through. Hoot drops that one, picks it back up. He's got a little bit of room, but Pine Island closes in on him fast as he makes it down to the 41-yard line of the Panthers, and we'll see Stewartville's offense for the third time. The first drive, they were inside their own 8-yard line, where it ended up scoring on third down on a Dylan Scanlon run. The last drive, Pine Island's defense really did well and was able to stop them at about the 48, punt it away. This is the third drive that you'll see. 2:57 to go in the first quarter, and Vince Wellick looking over to get the signs. As personnel, we got Jace Klug, wide receiver on the near side, Parker Wong on the far side, Caleb Bancroft will be our tight end, Mickey Height in now at H-back, Dylan Scanlon at what they call the super back. So Height just in front of and to the right of Wellick at quarterback. He sends Klug in motion. Waits till he gets set. He's going to hand that one off to the left side to Scanlon. Scanlon tries to go off the shoulder of Lincoln Doobie, but great pursuit there by the Pine Island defense. You want to talk about their strength. It looks like Pine Island's defense, they just got put in a tough position on that first drive inside their own 10-yard line. But the last 2 drives, the way that they moved to the ball.
Super impressed with the interior of that D-line right now, just holding up and keeping their linebackers clean, which is a hard thing to do against Stewartville. But they're really doing a good job. And the linebackers from Pine Island, we've already talked about a strength of theirs, filling the holes and finding that those speedy running backs from Stewartville.
We thought with the athletes that Pine Island has that where we would have our biggest advantage is the big cats up front. And right now, Pine Island's front 7 is matching up strong with it. Parker Wangen on the jet sweep. He's got a couple guys out. Blake Schultz trying to chase him, but Wangen gets around the edge. Did a flag come in? I thought I saw something. It's so hard to see from 60 yards away. But Wangen picks up about 5, we'll say.
So here you see Coach Muller finding that, I can't
Oh
get
my
the
gosh,
inside.
they pushed him out. He only got 3.
Yeah, they did move that back about 3 yards from where we thought he went out. But there's Coach Muller trying to get to the outside and using the jet sweep and also trying to get the ball to Parker Wangen in any way he can right now.
So now Wellick flanked on either side. You got Height to the left side. You got Scanlon to the right. Doesn't matter what I'm saying. They're going to mix it up anyway. Trips bunch to the left. A lot of times you'll see Scanlon come off this left side and let the wide receivers know they're going to run a counter to the right side. He's following Klug. He bounces it outside. But great tackle there will get you the number. It looked like 59. Andrew Edwards, I believe, was the guy coming off that front line to snag up Dylan Scanlon. That's not an easy job, as Stewartville's having trouble on the ground and through the air.
Yeah, and a 4th down and 5 here. Coach Muller deciding to go for it.
Here comes the hard count, Coach.
Yeah, you're probably right on that.
And then they'll look over for a play. I think they always want to look to see if Wangen is single covered or not. Corin Pike, the safety, looks like he's shading over this way a little bit. And Pine Island's going to take a timeout. That's their second of the first quarter. So Pine Island has 1 left. Stewartville all three. 1:18 to go in the first quarter. Stewartville up 6-0. But the offense just sputtering a little bit. And give credit to Pine Island's defense. They're a big reason why.
Absolutely. They're doing everything they need to do. As you mentioned, the 6 points on the board came from 7.5 yards out. So that's, kind of understandable. They haven't given up many yards. And now you hate to say that it's a huge play in the first quarter, but it really is kind of a big play in terms of momentum and how this game goes from here. If Pine Island stops them, what a huge stop, and they get the ball back from the 35-yard line. If Stewartville can get the 5 yards or more, they're going to feel real good that they're going to go tack on more than 6. So big play here coming up.
Yeah, and you talk about the defense giving up the touchdown. It took us 3 plays to go 7.5 yards.
True.
So even that has got to be a little bit of a feather in their cap.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm telling you, I'm impressed with that front seven so far of Pine Island. So something Coach Schultz and his defensive staff must not have liked. They called the timeout, make sure everybody's on the same page, because like you said, this would be a big turnover on downs for the Panthers to get the ball back. We got 2 wide receivers on the near side. There goes Height in motion. Wangen catches that one, but did he get enough? He had a second effort where he dove forward. It's going to be awfully close. It looked like he was going to be dragged down by Saylor, but then he spun out and tried to dive forward. If he's to that line, which they're putting it on, it is a first down. But great second effort by Wangen.
Good pass by Wellick, too, there to put it right on his numbers. And, yeah, I was wondering what Coach Muller would go to there. You got to go to one of your favorites, one of the plays you feel most confident in. And certainly an inside slant pass to Parker Wangen is always a good option.
Yeah, and you saw what they did. They ran Height in motion, almost looking like they were going to throw a bubble screen, and then they ran the inside wide receiver, which is Wangen, off that quick slant, just trying to get those 6 yards that they needed. And he got all, that and maybe a half a foot more. Mm-hmm. Height goes in motion now on the far side. All alone is Jace Klug over here. He's going to drop back to pass. A patented screen pass. And Scanlon was turning his head before he caught the ball. Pops off his hands, pops off his helmet, loses it. Luckily, it gets to the ground. But that could have been a huge play, Coach.
Yeah, it looked like the linemen were downfield ready to help him make some hay there, and he wasn't able to bring it in. But, it's one that the coaches will just remember. It's there when we want it, when we need it. We'll see a play similar to that later in the game at some point.
So 2nd down and 10, 34 seconds to go in the first quarter. Stewartville leads 6-0. Wellick in a shotgun. Malik Abdi behind him. Mickey Height goes in motion to the far side. He now joins Wangen over there. Jace Klug all alone on the left side. They're going to hand that one off to Abdi. Shell Lunas over there trying to pull from his guard position. Abdi just going to lower his shoulder and pick up about 5 yards and make it 3rd down and 5, as I would imagine that's going to be the end of the first quarter. I don't think Coach Muller is going to rush him up. We're going to settle it back down and make sure he gets the correct 3rd down play, or at least get him up to the line. 10 seconds to go. It's weird, this clock, we were having trouble with it in soccer. What's happening is it's pausing. It went from 11 to 9. You don't want to see that. And that's the end of the quarter, end of the first quarter. As Stewartville leads Pine Island 6-0. Pine Island on the backs of outstanding defensive play by their 11 guys. Stewartville offense not looking like it usually does, but we've seen this before, Coach. They were scoreless against Zumbrota Mazeppa and put up 24 points in 69 game seconds. They put up 38 in 8.5 minutes. So this Stewartville offense, once they pop the top, that thing can come pouring out. And I'm sure Coach Muller wants to take a shot here, get another touchdown, get that 2-score lead that Robert Sala from New York Jets loves to talk about.
Yeah, well, I'm just a big believer in momentum, and so that last 4th down play added a little bit more momentum for Stewartville's side. But again, here we are at 3rd and 5, and Pine Island's starting to get a little momentum back. If they can, hold up here and get the ball back, then it swings back the other way. It's just it goes back and forth usually when two good teams are at it, and certainly it looks like we've got that tonight.
Want to give a big shout out to our friends at the Down Under. Last game, they supplied us with some tasty treats, and so we appreciate their support. The Steer brothers, 2 brothers, or Down Under if you're ever in Stewartville. two great places to grab a bite to eat. And if you get the wings, get Sriracha Bourbon. I promise you will not be disappointed. Their burger's outstanding. My favorite is called the Jalapapa Burger. Do you have a favorite, or do you go Piggy Mac?
I was unable to go up to Zumbrota last Friday, so I took the family down to the Down Under, and we ate down there. I had the fish and chips, and I was not disappointed. It was very, very good, so can't complain.
3rd down and 6, start of the second quarter. Wellick in the shotgun, Abdi behind him. He's going to fake the handoff, roll to his right, but he's going to throw it back to Abdi, who's all alone. He catches that one, but Blake Schultz, give him credit for his recovery speed. I think he kind of, after the play fake, he went back to the middle of the field, realized that they ran Abdi out of that for a pass. Caught up to him awfully quick. For a big guy, Schultz can move.
Yeah, awesome play design, first off. And then for Schultz to sniff that out and stick with his guy was maybe even more impressive than the play design itself. That's a play that I think most linebackers would have got lost on, and there would have been 6 more points on the board. So good play by him.
So 1st down and 10. Wellick is going to pass this one. Uh-oh, Parker Wangen, you betcha! The ball's in the air. More often than not, Wangen's coming down with it, and he just keeps ticking that career scoring record up a little bit higher, trying to make it out of reach for anybody else coming through Tiger Nation in the next couple of years. Parker Wangen, what a beautiful ball there by Vince Wellick.
Yeah, perfect pass, and I always like watching Wangen catch the ball with his fingers. He just, all hands right there, dials it in and puts another score in his tally sheet there.
So second play of the second quarter, Stewartville scores. Look at this unique setup. Now we got 4 guys up at the line. You got Wangen behind them. We got flags. We're still learning how to use this camera, so don't give me any slack here.
You know, with these formations,
moves it back 5 yards.
The formations that we see Stewartville running here, I don't know this for a fact, but I think that Coach May and Coach Muller sometimes let the players have input on what do you think we can do next? What do you think our next play is? So it keeps the players interested and having fun, and here's the play I think we should try, and if it's decent enough, maybe it gets run.
Spencer, good snap. Klug, good hold, and Wangen hits that one with about 25 yards to spare. We saw his leg against Waseca at the end of the first half. I'm very confident in that guy kicking the ball. 13-0, Stewartville, 11:26 to go in the second quarter as Parker Wangen from Vince Wellick gives us our second touchdown, and we'll see Pine Island come back out, and I would imagine you're going to see a healthy dose of trying to get Tyne out in space on the edge. That seems to be where they've had their most success.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that for sure, and they got to feel like they got to get some form of a passing game going. They've had so much success throwing the long ball, and we've seen it. It was off the fingertips on one. We saw the tight end seam down the middle that was fired in there, and would have been a tough catch, but maybe could have completed it. So I want to see if they can get some kind of a passing game going on this drive as well.
Parker Wangen, single coverage, not recommended.
That's tough. That's a amazingly good athlete. There's not many people in the state of Minnesota that are going to be able to lock him up one-on-one.
And the thing is we've seen teams try to double him. Cassie Manorville played a safety over the top of him the entire game. Jace Klug goes off, has 2 touchdowns, an incredible game. Caleb Bancroft all of a sudden became a huge target. Mickey Height out of the backfield. Yeah. We got him in Zumbrota Mazeppa. So you kind of have to pick your poison.
Well, and you mentioned that before the snap, they look over at Coach, and Coach kind of decides, all right, they got 2 on Parker, let's run this play. If Parker's singled up, let's run this play. So they're using it to their advantage.
Parker Wangen's going to kick that one deep. Tyne is going to let it bounce once, twice, goes off his chest. He picks it up at the 8-yard line, and all sorts of Tigers coming on, but the guy you're going to give credit to is Carter Dick. And it looks like a flag was thrown. Looks like they're going to get an extra 15, I imagine. Stewartville Tigers, they fly to the ball, they play fast, they play physical, and sometimes we get penalties of aggression, and this might be one of them. Appreciate everybody tuning in, whether you're on YouTube, hopefully listening to us, or maybe you're watching the game on Huddle. Either way, hopefully the ads aren't interrupting you on the other broadcast platform. Called that on Spencer.
Well, Spencer plays with about as high as a motor as I've seen. He reminds me of Caleb Jansen, and
It's
those
like the
inside
highest
linebackers.
compliment you can give.
Right. I mean, yeah, it really is. We watched him for years just dominating in the middle, and we're seeing Spencer really kind of looks very similar at times, doesn't he?
He does. Even out there, just his body type, the way he moves, the way he plays. Caleb Jansen, one of the best linebackers I ever saw come through Stewartville. And now we got Zeke Spencer. It's just fantastic. You got Week under center. Schultz at fullback. Jasperson is going to get the handoff on the right side. Zeke Spencer comes through the line and just destroys him for a 2-yard loss. He says, hey, I'm sorry about those 15 yards. Maybe I'll put him back myself a few. Wow, did he come flying through the line. You talk about him looking like Zippy? That's a play Caleb Jansen would make.
Yeah, I just saw the window, hit it hard, and met the running back as far in the backfield as he could. Beautiful play from a linebacker. Anybody that's played linebacker kind of knows what a window I'm talking about, but you just got to trust that if you run through it, eventually you're going to find that ball, and he did that to perfection right there.
2nd down and 12 now, 10:40 to go in the second quarter. Stewartville up 13-0. You see Spencer and Justice Dino inching up. Now they back off at that linebacker position. Mickey Height on this side as a linebacker. They pitch it out to Jasperson. He tries to cut it upfield. Oh, my God, Spencer came and just destroyed the pile. I don't think he hit the ball carrier, but some bodies went flying. Maybe a little friendly fire. I think he took out Bancroft.
And it looked like the ball might have come out the way a couple of people were scrambling to the sidelines over there after the hit.
Boy, Spencer is amped up.
Well, you mentioned that they were going to try to get tying the ball here. They've done it twice without success, and now here comes the second part of that. Can they find a passing game to get some yards here and pick up a first down?
3rd down and 13 for Pine Island at their own 28-yard line. You got Week is the quarterback. He's going to be in the shotgun. Tyne next to him. Harstad on the near side. Drew Saylor on the far side. We got, looks like cover 2 over the top. 2 safeties on either side. You wonder if they'll try to run Tyne out of the backfield. No, he's going to stay back in for pass protection. Ooh, did that ball get tipped or did it just come out of his hand a little bit awkward? Either way, it was about 4 yards short of Harstad. And it's going to be 4th down and 12. And Pine Island, this deep in their territory with 9:28 to go, is going to have to kick this one away. And back to receive, Dylan Hoot.
I like the play call. Stewartville was probably thinking the long ball's coming, and they run a little 8-yard hitch or a little out route. Not sure what he was actually running there, but to break it off before the sticks and just try to get him the ball and see if he can get the extra 2 yards on his own.
Maybe break a tackle.
Yeah, I
or
like
just get
the
a run after
idea
catch.
there. Just let's see if we can get a completion and find the first down.
Dylan Hoot standing at his own 45-yard line. Pine Island brings in the extra blockers, thinking that maybe Stewartville's going to bring the rush. They don't. Oh, a low spiral. That's going to bounce towards the Pine Island sideline. Gets a Panther bounce as it goes out about the 38, I'm going to guess. We'll see where he stops. They're going to say the 40. Yeah, so Stewartville comes out leading 13-0, 9:22 to go in the second quarter. The offense kind of up and down, Coach. Maybe they're starting to hit their stride after the last drive. We'll see right here. Do you think more on the ground? Malik Abdi's had some success. He puts his shoulder down, runs hard. But you see Scanlon out there now. Vince Wellick has made a couple beautiful passes, including the 20-yard touchdown throw to Parker Wangen in the corner of the end zone. I would imagine Scanlon, they're going to try to get his feet going.
Yeah,
maybe get him into the open space.
I'm sure they want to establish a running game. I could also see him almost calling that a turnover and taking a shot here before going to the ground. But you were right.
There's Scanlon. Boy, he bounces back. Is he going to get into the open field? Wow, is that Schultz that ran him down? You're talking about a guy 225 pounds running down Dylan Scanlon? North Dakota State salivating.
Yeah, they're going to like that. He's just built and fast. That's a good guy to have coming your way.
But Scanlon, boy, he did a good job kind of ducking and diving and getting back to the open space. Big run there for Dylan Scanlon. You talked about that. Always in his back pocket. It seems like a 20, 30, 40-yard runs is how you really build up. Last week, 6 carries, 150 yards, and a touchdown.
Well, and we've talked about how he's learned to throttle down and use his speed when it's time. He's got to let the blocks set up first.
Now you got Scanlon on the near side. He's coming in jet motion, trips bunch to the left. They're going to hand that one off to the left side. Mickey Height's kind of leading the way. Dylan Scanlon cuts back, makes a guy miss. But I believe Harstad is on the tackle. Scanlon picks up about 5 or 6.
Just a good old-fashioned jet sweep there with a lot of blocking on the left side. The wide receivers and tight ends have really improved over the last couple weeks in their stock blocking on the outside. We've seen just a week by week, they're just getting better at it, and we saw a real nice job out there right there.
So 2nd down, and we'll say 6. Wangen, Bancroft, and Mickey Height over on this side. Far side, Jace Klug all alone. Scanlon next to... He's going to throw that one to Wangen off his hands. Very rarely do you see a drop like that by Parker Wangen. Good pass by Wellick. Put it right where it needed to be, in between 2 defensive backs for Pine Island. And that's a gift for the Panthers, because Wangen was coming across the field almost full speed.
Yeah.
It would have been him and I think Pike one-on-one.
I'm just kind of smiling here because I know Parker wants that one back, and I have a hunch he's just...
Throw it to me again?
Just kind of smiling like, oh, and chewing on that mouth guard a little harder than maybe he would, but he'll get another shot here as the game goes on.
So trips bunch to the left. Wellick in the backfield. Here comes Scanlon again on that jet sweep. They're going to fake that, though, and here comes the screen back the other way to Mickey Height. Mickey Height breaks that tackle, and there's Schultz again. You've heard his name about 50 times here in the first half, but he's making some plays, but not before Stewartville gets that first down on 3rd down and 6, keeps the chains moving. Under the 8-minute mark now, 7:53 to go. Stewartville up 13-0, and now it's 1st down and 10 from the Pine Island 20-yard line. You wonder if they'll take another shot for Wangen in the end zone. It's him and Harstad all alone over here. They are kind of putting Jasperson close by, I guess, so Wangen can't run a slant route. Trips bunch to the left, Scanlon to the left of Wellick, Parker Wangen all alone on the near side. They're looking over to Coach Muller for his final play call. Coach Conger, huge Hawkeye fan, excited for the Gopher game, I'm sure, tomorrow, calling some of the plays in. Here's the snap, 1st down and 10. He's going to throw that one to Parker Wangen. And Pike does bring it down. Good job by the safety, Colin Pike, to come over. He just kind of drifted over, played center field, and unfortunately, Wangen double covered on that.
Yeah, and
it looked like there was no other throwing option, though.
Yeah, a little
it was
inside,
like that
outside.
Was from
they had it just kind of smothered, and probably ill-advised there from Wellick, but you know, if Parker Wangen's the guy on the other end of it, it's probably never too ill-advised. So they'll learn. It's one of those things that I've enjoyed watching Wellick improve week by week. And like I said, he's going to come out on the next possession and rip the next one with just confidence. I just think it's awesome. So nice to see Jasperson back in the game. He went off earlier. I was kind of keeping an eye when I'd see him again. He was out there in the last defensive possession. So good news for Pine Island.
A big pitch over to Tyne. Oh, my gosh, Steve Spencer stood him up and just carried him backwards. How great is Spencer playing here?
It's fun to watch, and you forget that he's how young he is. And
what's he? He's either practicing his dance moves for tomorrow night's homecoming dance, or he got a little bit of a stinger.
Well, when you hit as hard as he does, it probably isn't his first time that's ever happened.
Peyton English, the sophomore, comes on to give Zeke Spencer a break. Tyne just made it back to the line of scrimmage, 2nd down and 10. So Knox in the backfield. Tyne is to his left. Schultz kind of in that, we call it an H-back spot. Sailor on the near side, Harstad on the far side. There's the snap. He's going to pop back. He's going to throw that one out to Harstad. And Eastman slows him down as Harstad was fighting for every inch. The junior wide receiver picks up about 5, and he'll make it 3rd down and 5 with 5:57 to go.
Strong hands by Eastman to hold on there. Good job by the receiver to try to break free. Gave it everything he had.
Spencer back in the game. He was only out for 1 play.
Noticing that Larson and Parker Wangen are flipping to Sailor's side every time. Just kind of picking up on that as the game goes on here. So Coach Hain has his D-backs where he wants them for every series.
So like he said, Isaac Larson for Stewartville, Drew Sailor on the near side for Pine Island. Knox is going to throw that one up. And that one was caught by number 48, Cody Schultz, the sophomore younger brother of Blake. Good route by the tight end.
Yeah.
And even a better ball by Knox to float that one in as Pine Island moves the chains with 5:18 to go. They're going to try to put something together before the end of the first half because, as you know, Stewartville will get it coming out of halftime.
Yeah, great pass play there, and there's some momentum right there for Pine Island to try to get back in this thing before halftime.
Stewartville up 13-0, 5:18 to go in the second quarter. Schultz goes in motion. Knox is in the quarterback position. He hands that one off to Tynoff, right tackle. And Lincoln Doobie came flying through to make that tackle. Lincoln Doobie, big congrats to him. He was on homecoming court. So was Parker Wangen.
Yeah. Jace Klug.
Oh, Jace Klug was on it as
Yep.
well, huh? Josh Langseth, big shout out to him, cross-country
Yep.
guy. He's our homecoming king. Olivia DeCook out of volleyball was our homecoming queen. Also had like Catherine Jones, women's soccer player. Trying to think of some of the other ladies that were on court. That's something you'd think I'd write down.
Yeah, we should have. I should
we
know
have some
all
time.
of them. Yeah, we'll get them.
Halftime, we'll be talking about some other sports. Maybe we'll look it up. Who knows? Spencer is getting everybody squared away. Schultz goes in motion. Knox takes the snap. He's going to drop back. He's going to throw that one up in the air. And they get a step on him. Eastman was in his hip pocket, though, intended for Harstad. Dylan Hoot coming over from the safety position. That was twice now that their wide receiver did get a step on us. Ball just a little bit overthrown. So with us blanketing Drew Sailor, you see they're taking quite a few shots for Owen Harstad.
Having to find other places to go with the football, and they're doing it. They're finding it, and again, it's evidence of a good coaching staff. If you're going to take away this, what else do we have? You took away Plan A. What's Plan B and C? And so hats off to the Pine Island coaching staff for finding some yards here when they need to.
So 3rd down and 9 for Pine Island. 4:20 to go. It's a drive that they've been able to move a little ways down the field, and they got to try to get on the other side of the 50 for a first down. They'll need 9 yards exactly, but that midfield is what they're looking at. Knox is going to take the snap. He's going to drop back to pass. This one's going to be floated up, and over comes our safety, Jace Klug. He's a great ball player, and he looked like a center fielder right there. As I said, it is dangerous, and we called it. Well, you called it in the pregame. I said true or false, Parker Wong and Jace Klug comes down with an interception. Klug makes you look like a genius, Coach.
Well, it's
pretty easy to do. You're always right.
It wasn't a hard one, knowing that eventually they were going to try to get the ball to Sailor, and Klug was sitting all over it, just waiting for that to happen. Probably again licking his chops when he saw the QB let it go, and then timed his jump perfectly. We saw in the Waseca game, I can't remember who it was, but timed the jump a little bit and just over the fingertips, and that one right there was executed to perfection.
So now with 4:14 to go in the second quarter, Stewartville up 13-0. Coach Muller loves to do what we call double dip. Try to score at the end of the first half and get the kickoff out of the second half. They have that opportunity if they can take advantage. Parker Wangen, they run a perfect wide receiver screen to him, had 3 blockers out front, and I think Doobie was even pulling to help. And that goes through his fingertips again.
Yeah, they had a entourage waiting to help him there. So unfortunate drop there by Wangen. We'll see what Coach goes to next. You can kind of see Pine Island's dragging just a bit here before the end of the half. You can just kind of read body language, and they just look a little stunned right now, like, oh, crap.
Look at how wide Wangen is. Him and Drew Saylor all alone over here. He's got no safety help unless Tyne backs off pretty quick. They're going to hand that one off to Abdi on the left side. Abdi, back and forth. Good tackle there by Corin Pike. I think I called him Colin last time. I apologize. Corin Pike, the guy with the interception in the end zone that last drive. Huge play. There he comes up from his safety position to make the tackle on Malik Abdi. But Abdi with a gain of 6. It'll be 3rd down and 4. 3:48 to go in the second quarter as the clock continues to tick. That's not a big concern. It's about moving the chains right here. We got to get on Bill. He says 3rd down and 5. That is not halfway, Bill. Come on, Bill. We miss Gordy, I'll tell you. We miss Gordy.
In more ways than
than
one, for sure.
Coach Muller is going to call the first of his 3 timeouts, as he's going to make sure we get the right play call. So I don't know if you were watching in the Castle Manorville game, but at the end of the first quarter, Coach Muller called back-to-back timeouts on 4th down and I think it was 11, or 4th down and 8 at about the 15-yard line going into score. And the first one, I was like, oh, he probably wants to get the correct play call. Then he called back-to-back second call. And I was like, what? Why did you burn 2 timeouts in the first drive in the first quarter? And he said, the second one was because we broke the huddle with 12 guys. And I quick called a timeout knowing it would move us back another 5 yards. And he was willing to forego a timeout to save us the penalty yards quickly. And I said, see, those are the things that, as fans, we don't pick up.
Right.
And what had happened was he tried to substitute Parker Wangen in at the superback position, but never told his superback, hey, you got to come out. And so his running back did go out there, and all of a sudden there's 12 guys, and he realized it. So that's why I love doing those shows on Tuesdays with, well, we record them on Sundays, but Tuesdays with Muller is because I'm able to ask him those questions. Last week, he was 1st and goal from the 1-yard line, and everybody and their brothers texted me, like, why didn't we run the ball? We threw an interception there. Reminded him of the Seattle Seahawks when Marshawn Lynch is in the backfield. But he was able to tell me, like, listen, those are the times that we can work on things that if we need in the playoffs or we need in the state tournament, that we can say, hey, we've done that before.
Well, I'll tell you that a lot of times when you call the timeouts, or maybe 2 in a row, and you have the headsets off, it's also when you hear the fans in the crowd going, you idiot, what are you doing? You just wasted 2 timeouts. So, I just never question Coach Muller. He knows what he's doing better than anybody I've seen at the high school level. So,
3rd down and about 4. Wellick is going to pass that one to Klug, who did a perfect route.
Wow.
He just stuck his foot in the ground right at the sticks, did a little out route. Great timing by Wellick to move the chains. 3:28 to go, and a new set of downs at the Stewartville 44-yard line. This is the thing that you got in trouble with sometimes as a head coach and had to call timeouts, is Coach Muller was taking so darn long to call the play down that the play clock was, all of a sudden you see the hands going up, and you could just hear when we were calling the broadcast, all these fans are like, get the play in quicker. I was like, can't be easy to call a play, but Coach Meyer's catching a lot of heat right now.
Yeah, for sure. And I always knew that even if we went back 5, we were still going to get the first down. So I was like, relax, it's fine. We're going to get.
Wellick sends Mickey Height in motion. We got 4 guys out here. The old oop-de-oop from Varsity Blues. 4 on this side. They throw it to Wong, and they go back to the well. And Tyne, almost like a hip drop tackle there, as he brings Wangen down.
So they tried the same play that that they did on the first attempt of this drive, and Pine Island does a much better job in pursuit and getting out there, seeing that same look for the second time in this drive.
So a pickup of about 4.5, we'll say second, and we'll round to 6. Abdi in the backfield, Height at the H-back position. Wellick taking his time. We got 2:54 here in the second quarter. Wangen on the near side. He goes in motion. They fake the jet sweep, counter play to Abdi. Breaks the first tackle, and he dives forward to pick up about 3. It's going to be 3rd down and 3 as we just get across midfield. Abdi, a really strong running back.
Yeah.
Tough to bring down.
And getting better as he gets more reps in there at the varsity speed. Right there, I mean, he could have been tackled for a 1-yard loss, and he used a little juke move there to free himself from the defensive lineman to pick up, the 2.5 or 3 yards that he did.
The crazy thing to me is as these kids have grown up, and we've watched them since they were in grade school, middle school, playing all these sports, you talk about so many guys and how everybody was projecting them to be these fantastic basketball players, and they are. Mm-hmm. But then you see them on a football field. Parker Wangen going to college for football. Caleb Bancroft going to college for football. Malik Abdi, an outstanding basketball player, really good running back. As he gets the handoff there, he follows Mickey Height. Great block there by Height to get him to spring the extra 8 or 10 yards. And Abdi says, yep, we're going to move those chains once again. His vision and his ability to cut back there. Schultz a little slow getting up.
Yeah, some guys just have a feel for it, and I feel like Malik is one of those guys that does. He just has a feel for where the hole's going to be, when to throttle down, when to accelerate. He has a real good knack for running the ball. And as he beefs up a little bit, he might break that tackle and be in the end zone.
1:39 to go in the second quarter. Stewartville up 13-0. It's first down and 10 from the Pine Island 35-yard line. Wellick in the backfield with Abdi. He's going to pass this one. Jace Klug is on the catch. They ran almost like 2 out routes there. Height went first, and then Klug kind of followed behind him. Picks up about 4 as they're going to have to hurry this thing up a little bit. We do have 2 timeouts. We, meaning Stewartville. This is a Stewartville broadcast. You're going to hear me say that. I'm a homer. Second down and 6, 1:07 to go. 2 timeouts in Coach Muller's pocket. You wonder if this is a time that he'll take a shot. I don't know. Drew Saylor is a heck of an athlete. Parker Wangen all alone on him out here. Caleb Bancroft is the guy I'd look at right now. He's got Jasperson on him. Bancroft is about 6'6", going to Minnesota Duluth next year. Here comes Wangen in motion. He's going to take Harstad with him. They're going to roll to the left. Klug was all alone. He tries to go up. He throws it to the corner of the end zone, and that's going to stop the clock with 41 seconds to go. Klug had a step or 2 on his defender, but because Wellick was rolling to his left, he was unable to get his shoulders around to throw with enough oomph. I don't know if that's a good word for an English teacher that I'm working with right now, but enough power to get it there, and I think he was hoping that Klug would peel back towards the corner because he was running a post.
Yeah, he just a little miscommunication there. I think you put it well there, but with Vince trying to throw off an odd platform as he's moving left, that makes it just tough to do, and Klug wasn't where Vince thought he was going to be.
So third down and 6 at the 35-yard line. Coach Muller right now, there's 2 plays. I mean, he's not thinking that anything other than maybe either get the first down here, but we're going to have 2 shots at this. Klug, a little out and up, and did Wellick put it a little too far, maybe 2 yards out of the reach of Jace Klug. So now 4th down and 6, and I would imagine they're going to try to go to something, if you can call it this, a little bit safer, a shorter route that hopefully we can just move the sticks. 36 seconds to go with 2 timeouts.
Yeah, great coverage there by, I think that was Harstead out there.
It was.
Amazingly good coverage there. Klug's pretty good at that double move, and he was right on him. So we've seen some good coverage all night long on different things with Eastman down here on the near side. Just as a old DB's coach, that's fun to see.
So we got tight trips to the right. Abdi in the backfield with Wellick. He sends that one out, and Coach Schultz for Pine Island is going to use his final timeout to make sure his defense is squared away on this big 4th down play in their own defensive territory. We know Pine Island is very good in terms of their defensive philosophy of bending but not breaking. We talked about how many times in that one game. I better look it up so I don't talk. Yeah, it was against Lake City. They closed the game with 4 consecutive turnovers on downs. All of those were inside the Pine Island 33. So teams might move the ball, but it's like Pine Island has this ability to just settle down, focus in, lock in, and not allow a score. They shut Lake City out.
Yeah, I was interested. One of the stats that I had here was the points for and points against were so close from Stewartville and Pine Island, where we had scored maybe 123 and given up 13 or something like that. I got to find it here because it is interesting how tight those numbers were.
I can get them for you here.
I got you. 128 scored for Pine Island and 34 given up, and then Stewartville 123 scored and only 12 given up. Just showing how close both teams are in scoring points and giving them up. The other teams in the conference that are on the stat sheet are nowhere near the plus side of that Stewartville and Pine Island both are.
Yeah, you're not kidding. The next closest team offensively is PEM with 16 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So tight trips to the right. We're going to see the same play from Stewartville. Coach Muller must really like it as he sends Abdi out solo. There's Mickey Height coming out of that trips formation. He's going to turn it up. Smart play. Just get upfield. You got to get past the 25-yard line, I believe, is what our target was. And he gets plenty, but just take care of the ball. 29 seconds. You'll see if Is Wellick going to spike this, or did they call 2 plays in the huddle? 27 seconds to go and counting, 25. That score clock is jumping every 2 seconds. That's not cool. They're going to take a shot here to Wangen on the sideline. They do. A nice safe play. They get a few extra yards. They stop the clock, don't have to use their timeouts. At this point, 18 seconds with 2 timeouts. What, 3 plays, Coach?
I mean,
4
yeah,
at the most?
And you got everything you want. I could even see a screen pass coming here where if you don't get into the end zone, you call a quick timeout. You got a lot of options here to figure out what you want to do with your probably 3 plays.
This is interesting. So Sawyer Wood has come into the game, number 4 for Stewartville. You don't see him out there too often. You got Jace Klug on the far side, Sawyer Wood. Those are the 2 wide receivers. Mickey Height bringing them in. It's supposed to be a tight trips, at least to start the play. Parker Wangen in the backfield at that super back position. He now goes out to the right. Harstead is going to mirror him with Jasperson over the top. They're looking for Wangen all alone. Is he going to moss him? Harstead, great defense in the corner of the end zone. Half as good as the camera work by Todd Lechtenberg to get you that play. Unbelievable. But great job by Harstead using that back line as his second defender. And Wellick, to be honest with you, I'm okay with him throwing out the back of the end zone.
Yeah, for sure. Throw it where only Parker can get it. And good job by Harstead to just kind of push him out of bounds. Even if Wangen would have come down with it, he couldn't have got a foot in with how he was being shoved out of bounds. So a really good play by really all 3 guys involved in that.
I'm telling you, I would probably throw a jump ball to Bancroft at some point. Maybe run Wangen across the middle to draw all that attention. Have Bancroft do a little wheel route. That's what I would do, because you got Wangen and Bancroft tight on the tight end on the near side. Trips to the left. Wellick is back to pass. They're going to throw another one. 3rd down. Now it's going to be 4th down and 3. I don't know. He would have had to put that in not even a bucket. He would have had to put that in a small, like, Frosty cup. Wendy's, $1 Frosties, Coach. I don't know if I can interest you in driving there at halftime, getting us a couple. It might take an hour to get back. So Stewartville's going to take a timeout, 4th down, and a long 3, we'll say. Pine Island again, bend but don't break. 9 seconds left. Stewartville does have 1 timeout, but it's 4th down.
Yeah, and we've seen Wangen kick some real nice field goals this year, at least one beautiful one.
Oh, yeah, Wasika.
Wasika. So we know that the field goal is at least an option. It's on the table. Does Coach want to take, a good percentage that he kicks it through and gets to 16-0, or does he want to go for dagger, knowing that you get the ball coming out at half, like you mentioned earlier?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're on the right hash, which is Leslie Kunder territory, but I think he's not warmed up properly yet, so we'll put him on ice until the second half at least.
I got Leslie in class this year, and so he brought me the little index card of the play that he turned in to Coach May for the trick play. So
nice.
I don't know that play will ever be run, but
I hope he's the quarterback or something.
I will know it if I see it.
Sure.
He was involved
at some point.
He was going to have that ball in his hands, not off his foot. But
boy, that would be electric.
Wouldn't it?
It would be kind of like going back to, I don't know if you remember Caden King. They put him in there.
Yeah, I do remember that, yeah.
Had the touchdown run. Last year, I think Caleb Jansen got a pass out to the left side.
Yep.
Things like that. When Jamie Hart had the old fumble rooski
That's
or whatever.
true,
I think they called it tumbleweed.
It was tumbleweed. I can't believe you can remember that.
Trips to the left. He's going to throw this one. They are going for it. Oh, my gosh! Wangen was all alone, and Wellick just put way too many Wheaties in the cereal bowl this morning for Wellick.
Yeah, and he looks just so disappointed. Don't hang your head, Vince. It's, again, keeping it in a good spot where only one guy can catch it, but pretty good play there. I mean, design was nice.
Yeah.
A shot
Wangen
to
ran
score.
a great route.
Yes, he did. And again, tip your hat to Pine Island to hold tough and not give up any points there.
I mean,
what a stand, not only on that drive, but the one before where they got the interception in the end zone. To be down 13-0 has to feel like
13 points
a win.
in one of those drives. We've talked about it. They started inside inside their 10-yard line, so give their defense all the credit in the world. With 4 seconds to go. All right, they split their wide receivers out. I didn't see their running backs coming in close. They're going to kneel it down, but don't go anywhere, everybody. We're going to have the Tiger Nation halftime report where we'll get to chat about some incredible athletes that are beyond the gridiron. But right now what we have is Stewartville is up 13-0. Pine Island's defense has been playing very solid to hold this dangerous offense of the Tigers in check through the first 24 game minutes. Stewartville will get the ball to start the second half. But we're going to talk about some other programs going on here in Stewartville. Very proud of all the athletes that represent the maroon and gold. So if you're a Stewartville fan, sit tight and listen to some of this. Girls tennis, we'll start with them. Last week, the girls beat Faribault and Cannon Falls 5-2 each, and they kept the team winning streak alive here on homecoming week. Let's talk about Monday. They played Austin at home, and our singles players dominated, especially our top 3 players who did not drop a set. I'm talking about Chloe Regal, Olivia Regal, and Grace Miller, a perfect 36-0. Sophia Meyer battled to a big win in number 4 singles, 6-4, 6-2. Ann Bester and Reese Nelson got the W in number 2 doubles, 6-1, 6-1. And then Kylie Jones and Addie Eckerman won number 3 doubles with scores of 6-1, 6-0. So Stewartville, 5-2 win over Austin. Tuesday, tennis was on the road to play the Rochester Lured Eagles. Chloe and Olivia Regal were again fantastic, winning easily with a 24-1 set record. Grace Miller won at number 3 singles, 6-2, 6-1. So Stewartville up 3-1 after singles play. In doubles, we needed just one to secure the victory, and we got 2 of them. Ann Bester, Reese Nelson won 7-6, 6-2, and for good measure, softball silent assassin Addie Eckerman and Kylie Jones, her partner, had a clean sweep, 6-0, 6-0. Stewartville beats Lured 5-2. How about that? The last 4 matches, they win them all 5-2. Cross country Tuesday, Stewartville participated in the Lake City Invitational, ran pretty well. Let's start with the boys. Homecoming king Josh Langsath led the way with a 3rd place photo finish. I believe it was like 0.2 of a second or something like that. The boys would come in 2nd place behind only Casson Manorville. Stewartville 73, Casson Manorville 71. For our boys finishers, Josh Langseth, that 3rd place finish in 10:23. They were running a 2-mile course. In 14th place, freshman Nolan Schatz, 11 minutes flat. In 22nd, Asher Langseth, 11:23. Right behind him in 23rd place, Jack Owen, 11:24. And right behind him in 24th, Jackson Eckerman, 11:28. Those were our top 5 finishers. Also running 2 freshmen, Ethan Owen, 31st place, Josiah Scruggs in 42nd place. For the girls, we had all 5 girls place in the top 20 on their way to a 2nd place team finish just behind Austin. Stewartville with 54 team points, Austin with 37. Celis Scarin, the freshman, was our top finisher in 6th place, 13:09. Again, a 2-mile course. Luella Gici finished in 13th place. The junior ran 13:36. Elise Campbell, the freshman, 14th place for her, 13:39. Nora Campbell, older sister, right behind younger sister, in 15th place, 13:40. Olivia Bunny, 20th place for her. The junior ran it in 13:53. The cross-country team, for whatever reason, running today, and so sad to see that they're not here. I know that they usually run the football from the opposing team's school to our school. So, they had a meet, though. I don't have the results for that. Boys soccer. How about them? Having an incredible season, winning 6 of their first 9 games, and they played Cannon Falls on Tuesday night. Stewartville would score 7 goals in the first half alone and coast to a 7-1 win over the Bombers. How about this? Cole Kropp, 4 goals, 1 assist. What a day for him. Logan Quam, 1 goal, 1 assist for one of our homecoming court members. Levi Schrant, 1 goal. Charlie Waltman, 1 goal. Matthew Walters, Lucas Yenny, Chris Waters, Brecken Rester each had an assist. And then Rester, Owen Buckmeyer, and Atli Bueno combined in goal to only allow that 1 score across. I'm guessing with the Storms, I think last night's game against Schaefer Academy was canceled, so the boys are now 7-2-1, having a heck of a season. A couple of games for our girls soccer team. We played La Crescent on Monday night. I hope you tuned into that broadcast. I was able to call that game. Unfortunately, it went the way of the Lancers as Stewartville lost 6-0. Tuesday, another home game against Mankato Loyola went the way of our Tigers. 3-1 was the final score. The girls are now 2-7. Volleyball. You want to talk about one of the most exciting programs in Tiger Nation? It's got to be this volleyball team. Started the season on a 6-game win streak. Had an electric match against state-ranked Byron last week. A few close points was the difference in almost every single set. The girls played Zambroda Mazeppa on Tuesday night. Parents' night had a marathon of a 3rd set before winning the match in 4 sets. They played Fillmore Central last night at home. 3 straight set wins, 25-21, 25-20, 25-17. Kate Clavetter, 2 assists, 15 digs led the way in the back row. Dream Petershon, 10 kills, played fantastic from that middle hitter position. And Kaylee Learman, I don't know if there's a better setter around. She is playing just lights out this year. Lights out Lehrman, 18 assists for her and 12 digs. You talk about that volleyball team. You have a lot of girls playing absolutely fantastic. Matilda Doobie in the middle row. We talked about how fantastic of a person she is. Well, she has really just taken the horse by the reins, if you will, this season as just a junior and showing that her future is extremely bright. We talked about Dream Peterson in the middle. Ella Theobald back when healthy. It just sounds different when the ball comes off her hand. In the back row, you see Kate Clavetter diving all over. We got the two setters, Abby Langseth, and I talked about Kaylee Learman. That volleyball team is outstanding. I want to say their record is 10-2 now, but don't quote me on that. They've played some tough teams already, and hopefully they can keep it going. But that's what we have for your Tiger Nation report. Coach, some names.
Yeah, I want to add one thing. We mentioned the homecoming court in the first half, and I felt terrible because I couldn't remember them off the top of my head. Our homecoming court this year was Josh Langseth, Lincoln Doobie, Kyle Carolyn, Logan Quam, Parker Wangen for the gentlemen, and then for our ladies, it was Olivia DeCook, Catherine Jones, Kate Clavetter, Emmy Horseman, and Sadie Looney. So a lot of real good kids on that homecoming court. It was a fun week at SHS.
Yeah, that's so the winners, like we said, Olivia DeCook was the queen, and Josh Langseth, cross-country runner, was the king. Olivia DeCook just hammers the ball. Haven't got to see her as much in her senior year, but very impressive last year as a junior. We talk about that volleyball team. They're just fun to watch. They're out there flying around. It doesn't look like they're afraid to make a mistake this year, playing a little bit looser, and I love that kind of energy on the volleyball court. There's a lot of girls contributing, too. You talk about that right side. You got Charlie Holmes over there. You got Ella Theobald in the middle. We talked about one of my favorite players, Matilda Doobie. Dream Peterson, probably the most improved, and that's not a dig on her. That's saying how good she has been this year. On the other side, Spencer Nagel, a freshman already coming in, making an impact. You talk about other girls that can be out there. Minnick, Olivia DeCook is an option. A lot of options there. And then Kate Clavetter flying around from that libero spot. And I think Abby Langseth is a great setter, but Kaylee Lehrman, she's been different this season as a senior. I don't know if it's just that comfort level that comes with the maturity, comes with the experience. Abby Langseth has played a lot of volleyball as well, but Kaylee Lehrman has been really impressive. Have you gotten to watch any of the volleyball? I know your wife is really into volleyball. Has she seen any of the games? Any thoughts from the Meyer household, at least in that sport?
Yeah, the Meyers were at the volleyball game last night for camper night. All three daughters were running around and joining the team for warm-ups and having some fun there. So my wife was able to go and watch. She came back with rave reviews, just said it was a fun atmosphere, was impressed with how the girls were flying around, like you said. It just sounds like, trying to replace a legendary coach, it sounds like things are going really well, and I couldn't be prouder for them to be having the success that they're all having.
Absolutely. Then you talk about the soccer programs. The girls, kind of sputter. They've gone against some tough teams. They do have, I think, 2 wins on the season. You talk about the end of the year last year. They only had 2 wins going into sections, went all the way to the section championship. So hopefully they can build up to that same peak at the right time. Boys, though, 7-2-1, and you're seeing guy Cole Crop, 4 goals for him. Logan Quam, I almost see him in the box score every single time. Brecken Rester in goal. The boys soccer team, a lot of success coming out of that program. That's fun to see as well. Probably not, we haven't seen that kind of success since Drew Simmons was in goal with like the Adam Koenigs and the Joey Crafts back in the day. Really good program being built there for boys soccer.
And that soccer team, they've played together for so long. This group of guys that's coming, Cole Kropp and Will Turner and some of these guys that they play soccer in the off season, soccer in the summer. It's kind of their go-to sport. They love doing it. And they just kind of know each other so well. So for them to be seeing the success that they're seeing is, hats off to them for sticking together and having as much fun as they are. But it's just so fun to see for Coach Queasley and the crew there. So fun. Yeah, just an awesome start to all the sports teams here this year.
Yeah, cross country. Maybe I'll try to pull that up at some point and get you an update, maybe between the third and fourth quarter, to see if they have live stats. But then we talked about cross country, girls tennis, a lot of multi-sport athletes that you see. The Regal sisters have been really solid, and then Grace Miller at that number 3 singles, a lot of wins under her belt. That tennis team's playing well. We talked about cross country, boys soccer, volleyball. This football team, though, I mean, starting off pretty hot, ranked number 1 in the state. This earlier in the year, it's hard to look at the rankings because I think a lot of times when people look at that, they look at the records and say, okay, who's all 3-0? Because I think Waseca is probably a higher rated team than what they're giving credit for whatever reason. That loss to Stewartville, that was a tough game for us. And remember, Waseca was down their starting quarterback, and their best wide receiver had to go take over quarterback. So what they're doing already, they've won their last 2 games. Great job there by Coach Brad Wendland. But anyway, Stewartville ranked number 1, Pine Island ranked number 7, and I know that they didn't play the most challenging first 3 games, but their defense right now looks like a number 17.
Yeah, they look real. They're flying around. The line is holding up better than I thought they might tonight, and the linebackers are as impressive as I thought they were going to be. So, I just was super impressed in the first half with how they bent but didn't break was the phrase you used, and certainly what they were doing there. So the second half's going to be interesting to see how coaches adjust. It's always one of my favorite things about being up here with you is I get a good view of what was probably, I have to guess a little bit because I can't hear through the floor here, but what was probably said at halftime in each of the huddles there. But we'll get to see some adjustments from both sides coming up here.
Yeah, so I was super impressed. Blake Schiltz from Pine Island. I thought Harstad and Drew Saylor, they've been playing fantastic. Just a couple plays here and there, just outside of the outstretched fingertips, is all that's kept this game from being a little bit closer. Right now, just a 2-score game, but Stewartville will get the ball coming out in the second half. Coach Meyer and I are going to step aside. There's about 6 minutes left on the clock, and then the teams get an additional 3 minutes to warm up. We'll come back with second half action. You'll see the video stay live, but we're going to turn the mics off and give you a little bit of break from listening to me ramble on for so long. So for Coach Aaron Meyer, I'm Adam Peterson. You're tuning in to Stewartville Football on Stewartville Activities on YouTube, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes. We're back for second half action. Stewartville's going to receive the kick out of the second half. I'm Adam Peterson. With me, Coach Aaron Meyer calling this game on Stewartville Activities on YouTube. I think Huddle, we plugged in to try to help them out as well. So depending on which platform you are listening to, Todd Lechtenberg on the camera doing great work for us. I appreciate him giving up a Friday night to come help us out for free. We haven't even given him any of our popcorn. But kicking for Stewartville, Abe Ferber. He puts that one to the far side. Dylan Hoot is going to be the one that receives that for Stewartville. He's going to try to find a seam. Almost breaks a tackle, but bringing him down is number 11, Ryan Week. So, Stewartville offense. Roller coaster there, Coach. Some good plays, some plays that we just missed on. What do you think? Are we going to try to establish the run out of the gate? Right? Are we going to see some short passes?
Yeah, that'd be my guess. I think they got to get the running game going. If they can get the running game going, everything else kind of falls into place. The passes get a little easier. The linebackers suck up a little bit on play action, and now there's bigger windows to hit for Wellick in the receiving core. So I think you're right. I think we'll see some runs trying to establish a little bit of a ground and pound early.
So Mickey Height and Dylan Scanlon, I believe, are in the backfield.
We see him going to an unbalanced right away here. The tackle slides over to the left side.
See Scanlon coming our way, I'm sure. There's Height looking for somebody to block. Scanlon then cuts it up. He's going to try to bounce it outside. Whoa, Blake Schultz. Uh-oh, he's on the sideline. He breaks that tackle. He's got one more guy to beat. Oh, he stepped out.
Well, so we talk about the adjustments that we're going to see coming out of half, and the first one pretty noticeable. We see we see the tackle sliding from the right side to the left side and becoming the tight end over here on the near side, the camera side, and then obviously running behind a center guard tackle wing back and breaking free for a nice long run.
And they ran to the field side, gave themselves plenty of room to use Scanlon's speed. So Jace Klug here on the boundary side, Parker Wangen on the field side, Height and Scanlon behind as Klug is going to go in motion. They fake the jet sweep. Scanlon, good patience there as he's going to run upfield and pick up about 8 on first down. So two great running plays to start out the second half.
Yeah, Coach Muller and, Coach Nats down there probably telling the O-line, hey, we got to get this running game going. Let's come out of half here and show how big and strong these big cats are.
Dylan Scanlon, if he finds an opening, I don't know many guys that are going to be able to catch him. Maybe Dylan Hoop, but he's on our team. He's not going to tackle him. Parker Wangen and Jace Klug stacked on the far side. Height and Scanlon in the backfield with Wellick. Caleb Bancroft at the left tight end. They hand that one off to Scanlon. Ooh, right up the middle comes number 23, Jackson Hudson for Pine Island.
Hudson doing a good job of getting off the block and finding the ball carrier and then having enough arm strength to pull him down. Still enough for a first down, but doesn't diminish the good play that he made.
Hudson, just a junior. It's incredible how bright that scoreboard is. When it's flashing, I feel like somebody's shining something through our window. That was an upgrade, 3 or 4 years ago, I think, Coach?
It was. We've had some nice things with with the screen and whatnot, but if you're telling me that the clock is jumping every 2 seconds, that's maybe not the best, but.
So now Scanlon on the near side. He's going to go in motion. Wellick's going to fake that handoff. He's going to run it himself. Look at Wellick's wheels. And Pike comes up to make that tackle. Corin Pike, the hero from the first half with that interception in the end zone.
There's a play we saw very often last year with
Aiden Helder.
Aiden Helder was always very good at finding yards on that play.
Coach Muller always talks about it's almost like there's 12 guys on the field when you have a running quarterback or at least one that is a threat to run, because if they keep the ball, it's not always going to be a pass. Aiden Helder did so well last year. I mean, you talk about a guy, 2,457 yards, 42 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, but also could run the ball. One of the best quarterbacks I've seen come through here. I know you're a quant guy. There's Wellick, gets it to Bancroft. Good job he stays on his feet. And Tyne wrestling him all the way out of bounds. I'm surprised that Stewartville wants the flag because the whistle was blown a good 2 seconds before he took him out. They're probably thinking, hey, Tyne's like, I don't know, 5'10", Bancroft 6'6". I think he's okay.
And Caleb's the first one back to the huddle, too, right there.
Talk about a guy that has just elevated his game from his first varsity experience last year, limited because of Blake Turner and how fantastic he played. But this year, Caleb Bancroft just leaps and bounds, is growing, and that's probably what Minnesota Duluth sees the potential in a guy that big, that strong, that fast. You can teach him how to play football.
Well, and to kind of further the point with Aiden Helder, it used to be Aiden Helder and Caleb Bancroft down on the practice field when I'd be going home from track practice in the spring, getting him ready for.
They try to give it to Scanlon, but Blake Schiltz read that from his linebacker position, came up and made the stop for a small loss, maybe a half a yard, so it's going to be second down, and we'll say 11. He's done a really good job diagnosing plays.
Yeah, he sees the flow and is able to find his way to the ball carrier really well, which is, all good linebackers can do it, but he's doing it at a high level tonight against a good running football team.
Absolutely, with a lot of great big cats up front to be able to find a seam to get through there. Wellick in the shotgun, tries the hard count, get a few extra yards, even tries to point out the defensive lineman that jump. Height in the H-back, Scanlon to the left of Wellick, Wangen all alone on the far side, Bancroft and Klug on the near side. He's going to throw that one up to Wangen. Wangen going to the back edge of the end zone and just out of the reach of Wangen. Boy, he would have had to drag a toe, I think.
Yeah, it was. I thought Wangen was going to be able to come down with that. If he did, like you mentioned, he may have been out of bounds regardless, but still trying that long ball in the corner.
So second down and 11 as they took a shot at the end zone. They'll need to get to about the 6-yard line, we'll say, for a first down. Really tough angle for us to see from this booth. 3 wide receivers to the left. It's Height, Bancroft, and Klug going from inside to outside. Now Scanlon's going to join them all alone as Wangen on the far side. They throw that one to Scanlon. He's got the receivers out in front of him. He tries to cut it back, but it slips down. And Drew Saylor wrapped him up just to make sure that he got nowhere else as we got no gain. And we're bringing on the field goal team. This is going to be a 33-yarder. I think that's the exact yardage it was against Waseca. It's not a 33-yarder. It's going to be 35. He's like 9 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Here's the snap. Good hold. Wangen puts it up, end over end. Banger! Right through the middle. Wangen. What can't this kid do? He's an incredible quarterback. You don't see it because we play him at wide receiver. Great safety. He kicks for us. He punts for us. He kicks these 35-yard field goals for the brand. Basketball player. Great golfer. Went to state and track and field.
I was going to say, I tried him out as a high jumper. He was good there. Long jump. First time ever jumped over 20 feet his first jump. Went to state in the triple jump. So, yeah, a decent athlete.
I mean, just pick anything. He'll be good at it.
Yeah.
So 7:13 to go in the third quarter as Stewartville took off almost 5 minutes on that drive, only come away with a field goal. So I would imagine, again, another win for the Pine Island defense. But like my good buddy in Pine Island, Joe says, you can't win if you can't score. And Pine Island's going to need to put some points on the board. This will be their first drive of the second half, and we will see what adjustments Coach Schiltz has made. Speaking of Coach Schiltz, how about this for a throwback? So my first career when I came to Rochester for Mayo Clinic was athletic trainer for Rochester Mayo High School. Coach Schiltz was the JV basketball coach under Sean Lang. So I think I spent a year or two around him. Great dude, super nice guy. But then I think he left for maybe a principal position somewhere. I can't remember, but I see he's back in the area. Obviously brought two studs for his sons that used to be running around the basketball courts. Well, now they're high schoolers, and they're making a huge impact on the gridiron. Wangen's going to kick this one off. Again, 16-0 Stewartville after the 35-yard field goal. Mason Jasperson's going to field that one. Oh, my gosh! That's got to be Zeke Spencer. There's only a few guys on this planet that hit that hard. And old 10 coming up from the pile.
Yep.
It just looks different.
Well, Adam, you spent a lot of time at halftime kind of promoting all the other Stewartville athletics. And let's just take a second here to point out that Pine Island also has amazingly good athletics. And you look at their track programs, just one of the best in the area. Their golf team's always very good. The soccer programs have had success. So a lot of good athletes, a lot of good people coming out of Pine Island. So it's fun to see towns that are able to put together not just one good program, but many.
And I got a program from Pine Island I want to talk about more at our next break. Whenever that happens, is that handoff is the Tyne off the left side. He's going to try to get to space and use that speed. Good cutback as he gains about 11 or 12 yards. That's where he's been most successful, is getting Tyne out to the edge. If we don't maintain contain, is that something? If you don't keep that contain on the edge and Tyne gets around the corner, he's picking up 7, 8, 9 yards there. He picks up 11 and a first down.
Exactly, yeah. And good job by the offensive line to reach block and get him a little space there. Also a good job by Stewartville's defensive secondary to bottle him up and make sure that didn't, crack for more yards.
Spencer and Eastman are the corners for us. You got Hoot and Klug are the safeties. Linebackers Dino, Spencer, and Height. Big Cats are rotating up front, as it's going to be weak at quarterback. He runs Schultz in motion, but that's behind. He's going to throw a double pass. It's up in the air. Here comes Klug. Is he going to get another one? He knocks it down. Great discipline there by Klug. I think as soon as you see Schultz behind the line of scrimmage, when he receives that pass, you immediately have to be thinking double pass. Great job by Eastman. I think he was running with Harstad there, but then Klug stayed his ground and came over and at least knocked that one away.
Yeah, good job by the secondary, just doing your job. It's so easy to say. It's a lot harder to do, especially with an aggressive defense that wants to get in there to help on a swing pass. But in that situation, staying with their guy.
Yeah, Coach Hain talks about don't play hero ball. Don't do your job. And if all 11 guys do that, a lot of times there's good results. Well, the Gold Rush last year, where they have 5-6 donuts, #1 scoring defense, and then this year allowing 4 points per game. Right now, doing pretty well. I don't want to say anything. It's almost like saying, hey, he's got a no-hitter going in as a pitcher in baseball or softball. Schultz goes in motion. Week takes the handoff. Oh, met at the line by Montana's finest, Ridge Hats. Old 77 came barreling through from his defensive tackle position, and you know Heather's on her feet somewhere. Ridge Hats, that's the student that nominated you, correct?
That's my guy right there. I love Ridge Hats because he's just no nonsense, tell it how it is, quiet confidence. And he's just, he's an amazing thrower of the shot put and discus.
That's right. Went to state in both, correct?
Yes, he did, and had a great performance up there. So, real good human being.
You want to talk about a guy that's been through a lot in his life that not many people talk about, and still to come out as amazing as he is. Great kid. Obviously, Heather, outstanding job on her half, just carrying that family along. As Week is going to take this 3rd down and 11. He's going to throw this one up. The lefty just throws it up there. Oh, Dylan Hood picked it off. What a play. He's going to cut it. Now he's staying down the sideline. Oh, my gosh. He came in and just snagged that from the heavens. I think Schultz thought it was coming down to him. And out of nowhere, old 17 uses that closing speed and gets a goal pick for the Gold Rush.
Well, and I think we got hit as he was throwing there. And so that ball had a little bit of a punt flavor to it, and who thought, I'm a punt returner, I'm going to go get that thing, and took it down again. A pretty good return after the catch.
All right, Coach, I'm calling my shot here.
All right.
It's going to be Wangen or Klug, or it's going to be a deep shot to the end zone first play. That's what I'm thinking.
I feel like when you do this, you're pretty
Look,
good.
they don't even know where Wangen's at right now. You guys still got Sailor on the far side. So right now you got Jasperson on Wangen. They're gonna run Klug to the middle. Oh, what am I talking about? Malik Abdi just running up the middle. Let's just pound away, huh? Well, sometimes I'm wrong. I was thinking, usually after a turnover, especially one as electric as that, sometimes Coach Muller loves to take a shot. I'm guessing because we've taken several shots in the end zone and they haven't gone our way, he's going to say, hey, let's just get back to what's been going well.
Yep.
Maybe get another touchdown, go up 22. 4:50 to go in the third quarter. Stewartville up 16-0. 13-0 halftime lead. 35-yard field goal by Parker Wangen on the first drive of the second half. That's what makes it 16-0 Stewartville on the first drive for Pine Island. You saw Dylan Hoot just pick that one off and return it down inside the 20-yard line of Pine Island, and now Stewartville's driving 2nd and 1. They got Malik Abdi in the backfield with height. Here comes Bancroft, almost making like a moose package. They're going to hand that one off to Abdi. He's going to follow the big boys up front as he falls down at about the 5-yard line. .4:11 to go. New set of downs. It's going to be 1st and goal. You good with that, or you want me to?
Nope, I got
All
it.
right.
It's all good.
So Bancroft left tight end. Abdi now split out wide. Wangen in the backfield. A little wildcat. Here comes Wangen coming to the left side. Height takes on a big block. There are flags everywhere. And I would imagine that's on Stewartville. I would assume some kind of formation. I don't know if too many guys were in the backfield.
Yeah, with that many moving parts and guys in spots they're not normally in. Probably formation.
We'll get the call here. Does he? Do we know? Does he have a microphone on? Have we heard him all night?
Yeah, we've heard him a couple
Okay.
times. So
It's just I haven't been listening.
There are two calls on the play, both by the offense. Legal formation on the offense. The penalty is declined. Holding, number 54 on the offense. 10 yards from the previous spot. Still first down.
So there was an illegal formation that was declined, and then a holding call, which obviously you get 10 yards on that one rather than the 5 for the illegal formation. It'll drag them back, as now it's going to be 1st and goal from the 16, 17-yard line, I believe they end up. 17. Wangen's going to stay back there. As you know, this kid's an outstanding quarterback, too. So trips left. Wangen at quarterback position. He's going to run it himself. He's just going to go out of bounds. You wonder if they're not setting something up here, like making him think, hey, Wangen's going to run it, you know, and have him sweep out to the field side and then pull back and toss something.
yeah, I
Because
mean,
Coach Muller's always thinking 1, 2, 3 plays ahead.
true. Yeah, and it's not like he always has just one thing. You know, we're not just going to run it. He's got 2 or 3 things in that package that he's using.
And sometimes what he does is he just runs it to that direct. He would just run it to that direction to get the field side on the other,
Sure,
you know, so
yeah.
that he would have the space that he needs. Right now, we see Wellick go back in and Wangen return to his wide receiver position. So maybe a more traditional offense. It's 2nd down and goal from the 16. 2:42 to go in the third quarter. Stewartville still leads 16-0 as they got brought back 10 yards on a holding call. Wangen splits out very wide. Harstad is on him. Saylor is on the near side, matching up with Jace Klug. Malik Abdi in the backfield as Vince Wellick, our junior quarterback, is sending Klug into slow motion. Oh, a double move. He ran height on a wheel route, but man, Tyne was running with him. I don't know if you saw, but when Wangen made a cut, the guy that was guarding him slipped, and so Wangen was all alone, but the ball, I think, was already in the air.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but we had another end zone shot there. We've had several of them this game, and just unfortunately can't get one to connect here on the deep balls today.
So 3rd down and goal from the 16. You wonder if they'll go back to that screen pass that we went off Scanlon's hands from this far away.
It's a great call at this point.
I don't know how much Malik Abdi runs those screen passes. I think usually we do see Scanlon in, but it's been Abdi as the superback this series. They're going to just hand that one off to the right side, try to use their blocking upfield. He spins away, gets all the way down to about the 7 or 8 yard line, and I would imagine the field goal team is heading out there, and they are. One of the most underrated positions on the field is holder.
Yes.
I mean, we took Henry Cheddar for granted last year, the last couple years, but how well he was able to handle the snaps and get it down. And now Jace Klug doing a really solid job. Obviously, the long snapper has something to do with it. So Tegan Malone, the last 3 years, I believe he was a long snapper, now hands it over to the beast, Zeke Spencer. So Spencer snaps, Klug hold. Wangen's going to kick that one up. It's end over end. And that one is good, too, as Wangen puts another one through the uprights. This one from 27 yards, I believe, if I did the math correctly. And Stewartville now leads 19-0 with 1:16 to go in the third quarter. I talked about the Pine Island program that I wanted to discuss. Their volleyball team, I was there to watch that. It was a battle of unbeaten volleyball teams at the time. Stewartville did come out on top. But I think the Panthers really got something special going there. They are 11-4 right now. They've lost 2 straight. Their losses to Stewartville, Alden Conger, Cannon Falls in 5, and then Chatfield. And I think Chatfield, if I'm not mistaken, is ranked very high for volleyball. Pine Island, 11-4. They're at Lake City next Tuesday. Coach Christy Barnett doing a fantastic job. How awesome is it for her to have 2 amazing players that sit at her dinner table? Peyton and Tegan Barnett are just incredible volleyball players, great softball players too, fun to watch. But Peyton and Tegan Barnett were very impressive that night. Jade and Ruby Severson, you got Kylie Passow. I think Eliza Fletcher's getting into the rotation. That Pine Island team has been very fun to watch. And you said, it's not just football. It's not just track and field. There's a lot of other sports that are building up. I thought their women's basketball team last year, I think the year before, they hadn't won a game. I don't know if they won a game the year before. Last year, they went out and competed. I thought their girls basketball team under Mike Downey, much improved. But Coach Christy Barnett doing a fantastic job. Our volleyball team, 11-2. We're 30-8 overall in sets. We will be playing next Tuesday as well. I don't think I have the team written down. But yeah, that Pine Island volleyball team, I did want to take a second to give them a shout out and the job Christy Barnett is doing with that Panther club. This is going to be, I believe that Sailor that's returning is number 3. And big tackle there. I want to say Justice Dino. Justice Dino, it was. One of our linebackers that kind of quietly doing a great job. You don't hear about his stats as much as you did last year. I think last year he had over 80 tackles. This year, though, 11 tackles, 4 of those for loss. I think he had a great game against Zimbrota Mazeppa last week, if I'm not mistaken, helped build that. But somebody last year that just flew around and always seemed to be in the play, read some plays to perfection.
Well, and I feel like he's doing dirty work a lot of the times. He's taking on a lead blocker, and then it's Spencer maybe that gets through to make the play, but yeah, those two kind of work as an amazing pair in the middle.
Knox under center. It's an inside handoff. I believe that's to Schultz as he tries to drag some Tigers forward. Pickup of about 3.
So Pine Island starts out right away on this drive trying to get back into this game by getting that running game going. And I do agree that if they can find some space running the ball, it might allow that passing game to open up. It's always kind of makes life easier if you can find a running game. Every time I look at the clock and see that it's only 19-0, it just kind of blows my mind because I feel like Stewartville's had the ball and had a few more big plays. But again, Pine Island's still with a chance here to, if they can just put one on the board, they're right in this thing.
30 seconds to go in the third quarter, 19-0 Stewartville. Knox under center. They fake the handoff. He's going to go over the middle. And Cody Schultz. He's trying to do that without a roster in front of me. Cody Schultz with the catch. I believe that's his second big catch of the game. The sophomore making an impact.
We talk about momentum. First downs are momentum. And so here they pick up a first down. Got to be feeling good. The playbook is wide open again here as they get another 1st and 10.
You talk about stacking things up, get a couple first downs. Now their next goal, get across midfield. If you can put one on the board, you're only 2 scores down with a full quarter. We're going into the 4th quarter here. Stewartville up 19-0. Pine Island, I got to think that this drive, they have to get a touchdown to have a shot.
I feel like otherwise it's going to be kind of desperation time. They're
Yeah.
going to have to go to some things that maybe they're not comfortable doing or throwing the ball on nearly every down. So I think you're right. This is a key drive for the Panthers tonight.
You look at this game, 2 3-0 teams, 2 of the best teams in the Southeast Red District, but also 2 of the top teams in Section 1 3A. When you look at the standings right now and the projected finish, you might be looking at, and I don't want to jinx anything, you don't want to ever count your chickens before they hatch, you might be looking at a rematch down the road for a shot to the state tournament on the line.
Well, I feel like a lot of times you can definitely sense the strength of a team about this time of the season, about week 4 or week 5. And all of the teams in the area probably know like where they stand. Are they towards the top of that tournament, or are they, going to be at the bottom of that bracket? And you can kind of sense that it's starting to shake out.
Yeah.
Again, you don't want to jinx it, but certainly everybody that's been following the season kind of knows who the big dogs are and who's going to have to spring some upsets to make a special season.
And I'll tell you, the way this defense is playing, you've brought this up many a times, that when you get that far into the postseason and the weather changes and maybe the passing game isn't working as effectively as you ought, you got to rely on the run game. You got to rely on your defense. Well, you talk about this Pine Island team, if it gets into nasty conditions and you can't throw the ball, they might be able to just ride their defense. It's right here that they need to answer the bell. Can you score on this Stewartville defense? If you can't score, you can't win. So that's what we'll see on this drive, potentially, as Knox is in the shotgun. He's got Tyne behind him. Schultz in this H-back spot, we'll call it, just because that's what we call it here in Stewartville. He gets the snap. He's going to drop back. He's got all sorts of time. He's going to just tuck that one and run, and he's going to get out of bounds before Isaac Larson lays the hit on him. Boy, great pocket there provided by Pine Island. And really good pocket presence by Knox to know I got to step up and get out of here. Everybody was covered downfield.
Well, and you mentioned earlier that Coach Muller talks about the quarterback acting as a 12th player on the field sometimes. He's probably talking more of a designed running play, but even in that situation, it's probably not something that Coach Hain factored in much, was the QB scrambling out of the pocket and picking up yards, but certainly helped there.
So we got 2nd down and 7 from the 40-yard line. 11:54 to go in the 4th quarter. Knox back there with Jasperson now as Tyne takes a break. Schultz goes in motion on the far side. They're going to do a quick pitch out there. And Zeke Spencer makes the tackle. I think they were trying to call for a hold on Blake Schultz. He had Mickey Height because Height was trying to set that edge. We were talking about keeping contained. And Height was trying to do that. Jasperson needed to cut back up, and here comes Zeke Spencer from that middle linebacker position. He seems to be all over the field tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the night we see double-digit tackles from him.
Oh, for sure. Especially when you add in the special teams.
Yep.
I mean, he's probably had, 3 or 4 of those already.
And some of them should have counted as 2 with how hard he hit the guy. 3rd down and 4, 11:15 to go, and the clock is still rolling. You got an I formation, Schultz and Tyne in the backfield, Knox under center. You got Saylor on the near side, Harstead on the far side. Stewartville in their traditional 4-3 with 4 defensive backs. Up comes Justice Dino. Now he backs off. Stewartville will see if they blitz or send the house. They're trying the hard count first. They give it to Schultz right up the middle. Justice Dino slows him down, and Schultz is able to, power forward. It's awfully close, but it looks like they're going to give him the first down.
It's the first time we've seen him given the ball tonight, right? I think from that fullback spot.
Yeah, and he came with a head of steam. It was just incredible. Hey, no kidding. Is that DU? Big shout out to the Down Under, bringing Coach Meyer and I some dinner. What's your name?
He says he apologizes. My name's Jake.
Jake.
He apologizes, but to have it at halftime.
Big thanks to Jake and Mully.
Pretty busy down
Hey,
there, so.
hey! I hope they stay busy all night, Jake. Appreciate you, Mully. If you're listening, nobody better down there. I heard he's a heck of a softball player, slow pitch softball player. That Mully. They say he's got a cannon on him.
Is that right?
That's what I heard. I heard it from Adam Hansen, good friend from Dover Yoda. And Saylor is going to make that catch. A nice little hitch route, 5 yards. They'll pick up and make it 2nd down and 5. It smells fantastic right now,
Well,
Coach.
and I will tell
are we
you,
gonna be able to concentrate?
we were talking so much at halftime. You were talking so much at halftime
Yeah.
that you wouldn't have been able to eat anyway. So
It's perfect timing,
it is
Mully.
perfect timing.
It's
yep.
perfect timing.
Yep.
Thank you, Down Hunters. They
Yeah,
have been
thank
so
you.
supportive, bringing us food. I'm going to be honest. We can't live off popcorn here, Coach. Can't live off popcorn. So very, very blessed to have great people that are willing to run the few blocks and bring this to us.
That's awesome.
Harstad on the near side, Saylor on the far side. They got that I formation with Schiltz in front of Tyne. We saw that on that big 3rd down run by Schiltz straight up the middle. You wonder if they'll try to keep with them. They are. He's a tough guy to bring down. Lincoln Doobie slows him up, and Justice Dino comes to help bring him down. He does pick up about 2. 3rd down and 4. This is, at this point, down 19 points, almost approaching the 9-minute mark left in the game. You got to figure that 4-down territory almost the rest of the way for Pine
sure.
Island.
Yep.
You're 3 scores out. So I would imagine maybe another 2 runs just to get the 1st down. I don't think you want to take a shot here.
Well, unless you have a great play in mind for 4th down.
That hitch to Harstad was nice. The timing seemed to be on with Knox at quarterback. He's under center. They're going to stick. Oh, no, he's going to go into a pistol. Put Tyne a little bit to his left, a little bit back. Here comes Schiltz in motion to the left. You've seen that come off tackle. Oh, coming up field was Zeke Spencer. He slowed him up, but give Tyne all sorts of credit. He battled through Zeke Spencer's arm, was able to get forward, and it's going to be 4th and short. And I would imagine this is Blake Schiltz up the middle, Coach.
Yeah, I would imagine it as well. Just watching how we took the last dive, it probably will work quite nice.
See, right away, and they might do a quarterback sneak. They will.
Oh,
I
it was
think
close.
the initial surge was enough.
It looks
Look
like
at Justice Dino rip the ball out of his hand, but they're going to say forward progress was stopped. I do think he got the surge. It was a great push by those interior linemen. They're going to talk about it. I think the guy from the far side, when he was walking it in, seemed to be sold that it was far enough, but he wanted to talk to his partner on the near side. They're going to set it down, and they're going to probably, when was the last time we saw a measurement?
I don't know.
Usually they just eye it up and say, looks good enough.
Going to bring him out? They are.
All right. I don't know. I thought they had to get to the 43, and it is just short of the 43. Oh, really stretch these chains, boys. Really stretch them. Test that stainless steel. Oh, Coach Meyer's getting a zoom for you guys. Get out of the way, Grayson. Here comes. Oh, he stopped him. The Gold Rush stops him. There goes the yes chant. Coach Hain is pumped up. So Stewartville turns him over on downs with 8 minutes to go, and I would imagine you're going to see the Big Cats go to work here, Coach, and see a lot of ground and pound.
Yeah, that was a crushing blow there for Pine Island. They had just picked up, on using the old meat and potatoes, running the ball for a 1st down, and then to get to a 4th and short and not get it, kind of crushing at this point in the game.
You know, the last time I said that, hey, we're going to see a lot of ground and pound. We're up by so much. You know what happened? State championship, Tegan Malone, 55-yard touchdown? I was like, yeah, that's Coach Muller for you. There's Dylan Scanlon off the left side. He's following Doobie. Oh, he breaks! He breaks to the outside. Boy, did he spring loose that last 7 yards. It was like he was shot out of a cannon. Picks up about 12. Lincoln Doobie pulling from his right guard position. He runs fast, and he's a big kid. Know what I never appreciated till I saw him walk into his sister's volleyball games? How long his wingspan is. He must be, 6'3" maybe? He's got a wingspan of, 8 feet it looks like.
I feel like watching him on the wrestling mat, you kind of notice that a little bit too, when he's got the singlet on and those arms are just dangling.
They always talk about reach there in the NFL combines. Lincoln Doobie would score high in that category. First, no new set of downs, 7:30 to go, as Stewartville's going to try to milk as much clock as they can. Ooh, high snap. Wellick is just going to kneel down and take the medicine. High snap. Wellick was able to get a hand on it, at least to slow it down before it went over the top. That was the first bad snap we've seen tonight.
First one, yep. And probably a pretty good decision by Wellick to just get on that and save it.
With how fast the defensive front was coming in, do you think it was potentially a screen pass?
It may have been. It may have
because they
looked
must
like
have let him go.
Let him go, yeah.
I don't think I've seen a rush that fast. And you also wonder if the center is part of that screen pass. You're already thinking about, I need to get out over here.
Yep.
And sometimes you maybe overthink or forget about the first process.
Yeah, playing center is hard because not only are you trying to fire that ball back between your legs exactly where it needs to be, but you have a first step to think about. You got sometimes a defender right on your face mask. It's a tough position.
Delay a game? Illegal substitution. Oh, no, delay a game. We're going to go back another 5 yards, 6:29 to go in the game. It's now going to be 2nd down and 22, I believe. Although we saw this in Zebroda-Mazeppa last week, and it took us 2 runs to pick up like 25 yards. How about Nick Vetch down on the sideline right now?
Yep.
Homecoming. We get to see a lot of familiar faces from the past. You want to talk about a guy that had a huge impact on this program without ever needing to step on the field. The amount of work he did for the coaching staff, not only in football, but in basketball, even helped out the Schmitzes in baseball. Nick Vetch, an unsung hero of this Stewartville athletic program down there. I love that he's able to come back. They show him the respect. You come on the sideline. Here's that screen pass. They get it to Height. No block in the back. Height, if he breaks this one, here comes Lincoln Doobie. Height does a good job of just lowering his pads and moving forward. That was a pickup. Oh, we got Laundry on the far side of the field at the 42. Why is it way over there?
Well, a pretty well executed play. I thought maybe there was going to be a block in the back right in front of us, but they didn't throw the flag on that one.
Pick it up. They did call it from the far side.
That guy has good eyes.
Goodness gracious.
But
that's not your responsibility, buddy. You watch over there.
Well, now it's going to be a really long
2nd down and 27.
Yep.
So as my good buddy Dan Simmons would say, it's 2nd down and they got to get to Racine.
Yeah.
Dan Simmons, the guy that started all this broadcasting well before COVID, well before the automatic cameras. You should have seen the setups we had here. There were so many wires and so many logistical things going on with cameras and, internet and computers and all that. There's nobody else I would have wanted to bring me along than Dan Simmons. That's why I unofficially named this booth Dan Simmons Broadcast Booth. But if anybody deserves it, it's that guy. As Wellick's going to take this one. He's going to throw that one up for Wangen. Wangen sees it, puts a stutter step on. Oh, he almost had it. He gave the quarterback a little stutter step and then separated from him, dove for the ball. That was a pretty well thrown pass by Wangen.
Yeah, just out of reach, but very nice ball.
Wow.
And that would have picked up the first down had he been able to haul it in. Good arm strength there. Getting the ball down there.
19-0 Stewartville, 5:42 to go in the game. Stewartville, several penalties and a botched snap on first down has brought them back to 3rd down, and I don't think Bill's even doing the math anymore. We have to get, in all seriousness, we need to get to the 37-yard line of Pine Island, I would imagine, maybe a screen pass or a draw. Yeah, draw to Scanlon. And they are able to corral them up and take advantage of the Stewartville miscues, mistakes, and potentially get the ball back with 5 minutes to go. They are down 3 scores, 19-point deficit for the Panthers. Drew Saylor is going to go back to try to make something happen. I'm surprised they don't have time going back there with some of the kickoff returns that he's had through the first 3 games of the season. But you also want somebody sure-handed.
Yeah,
if you haven't been back there as a punting and the way Wangen puts it a mile in the air with a spiral that turns over, you want somebody that can catch the ball. Drew Saylor is that guy. He had over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns against Lake City. We'll see if he can make an impact here. He's standing at his own 37-yard line. That one actually is end over end. They kick it towards the sideline. It goes onto the track. You don't know if that was intentional, make sure that they don't have a chance
Sure.
for a big play return, or if it went off the side of Wangen's foot. Either way, it's going to be Pine Island ball with 4:55 to go. Stewartville ahead 19-0.
Well, and as a coach, I would just like to point out that the one thing that I would have been kind of panicking about in Stewartville's position there, and on the flip side of that, I would have been going after that punt. A punt block right there
Yeah.
would have been such a huge thing. So that might have been kind of what they were saying is just get the punt off and make sure we don't get it blocked.
So to recap the scoring in the first quarter, Dylan Scanlon, a 1-yard touchdown run after the fumble recovery by Grayson Schneider inside Pine Island's 10-yard line on the first drive. That made it 6-0 Stewartville. Parker Wangen had a 20-yard touchdown reception with 11:26 to go in the second quarter. That made it 13-0. That was our score at halftime. In the third quarter, 2 field goals by Wangen, one at 7:16, one at 1:16. That made it 19-0, and that's where we sit right now. We got 2 wide receivers on the near side. You got Week back there, the lefty, who's not afraid to sling it. He throws it, off of Harstad's hands. The ball came out of Week's hands a little bit crazy. He was very close to being across that line when he threw it. Want to thank everybody out there tuning in, and it looks like a hefty crowd watching this game to see who's going to take that front runner position for the Southeast Red District here in 2024. Stewartville trying to go on a 4-peat. Pine Island trying to turn around their program after 2 wins last year, already 3-0 this year, and state ranked in the top 10.
Yeah, and just showing out, right? Like we talked about the measuring stick at the beginning of the game. How could they hang with Stewartville? And the scoreboard, it's 19-0, but I think they have to feel like they hung in there pretty good through 3.5 quarters here.
So we got Harstad and Saylor on this side. Harstad coming over the middle. Mickey Height tackles him right at midfield, so it's going to be 3rd down and 5. Harstad is going to get a 15-yarder. He just threw Height off him at the end of the play.
Well, both teams playing so hard tonight. This is kind of the unfortunate thing is some of that frustration starts to boil over at this point in the game.
I could see them doing offsetting penalties.
Yeah, perhaps. And I will tell you that we don't always get to hear what's being said out there
Correct.
as well. So when I was down on the sidelines, there were times where I was like, get over here.
Yeah.
Like, let's keep it clean, gentlemen.
So balls.
After the play was over, personal foul, number 19 of the defense. After the play was over, personal foul, 52 of the offense. Those penalties will offset.
Neither of the guys we thought would get penalties.
Right.
What in the world? So they're going to call personal fouls offsetting like we predicted. Pick out a number on each side, I guess, because those are not 2 guys I was thinking of.
But again,
What
probably
was
some
said.
stuff being
Absolutely.
a little mixing it up, unnecessary stuff happening, and then the buddies come in to clean up afterwards. And
So 3rd down and 4, 4:30 to go on the clock in the game. Pine Island having to run back and forth. Brandon Week getting his steps in tonight. Lefty quarterback, I believe his first year of varsity football. How cool is that? Doing a good job helping this Pine Island program however he can. Tyne is behind him. 2 wide receivers to this side, 1 to the far side. Can't see the numbers. Week is going to drop back to pass. He throws that one to Tyne in the flat. Spencer comes up, but Tyne breaks the tackle. Klug pushes him out of bounds at the 32-yard line, and Pine Island picks up a first down, and you can see still excitement over there by the Panthers. You got to be happy for Coach Schultz that they're still in this game. They still want to compete.
And I guarantee you one thing they want is to get that goose egg off of the scoreboard. But good play design, taking some guys deep. Stewartville playing a softer shell there, just making sure they're not going to give up the big play. So the underneath route, wide open, take it, and let your guy get some yards.
So again, that far sideline has been deceptive for me today. They're actually at the 37. He must have stepped out a little bit earlier before Klug got to him. I know Isaac Spencer was trying to ride him out of bounds, so it'll be 1st down and 10 from the 37. Pine Island, 2 receivers on this side. Schultz in that H-back position, 1 on the far side. Tyne behind with Week. Week's going to drop back. The lefty's going to try to throw that one up in the air through the middle. Picked off by Parker Wangen! This guy has a touchdown. He has 2 field goals, and now he's got an interception. Before the game, I said, is Klug or Wangen going to have an interception? They both have one, Coach.
Well, pretty impressive interception there to just play the ball, go down and get it. And we've talked about Wangen's athleticism all night here, so we saw some of it right there.
3:53 to go with that turnover. The Gold Rush continues to have the 0 up on the board, and we'll see if Stewartville's offense can put a drive together that runs out this clock.
We're going to want to run the ball out here, run the clock out if they can. That unbalanced look that they used early was a pretty good start. I wouldn't be surprised to see that come back here.
So Wellick in the backfield with Malik Abdi. They send Dylan Hoot in motion. He's our H-back right now. Handoff is to Abdi off the left side. Bancroft does a good job taking his guy almost to the track. And Abdi picks up about 2 as it'll be 2nd down and 8. Pine Island has 3 timeouts. At which point do you think they start using those?
Yeah, I mean you could do it right away now. You could
You never get the
certainly
time
wait.
back.
That's my,
I don't know.
I kind of agree with you on that. I might just use them.
And Stewartville is going to have Vince Wellick looking right at this back judge when he starts his count. So his hand goes up in the air at 10, and then he starts a last 5 count, is my understanding.
Yeah. I feel like the 2-minute mark is where most coaches are kind of like, we should save as much time as we can at this point.
Okay.
But again, this time right now is no different than at 2 minutes. So
Hand off to Abdi. Following Hoot off that left side. Abdi, just such a hard runner, puts his shoulder pads down and just works forward for that extra yardage. There's a player down for Stewartville. Luckily, he's already getting pulled up, but he will have to come off. It's Doobie. Comes up limping a little bit. Hopefully, it's just like a Charlie horse or something. And coming in to replace him, number 57, Tommy Lofgren. Lofgren's not a small kid either.
no, and
He's a thrower, isn't he?
Yeah, he is an amazing thrower. As a freshman last year, was one of our top 3 throwers in both events, and he's only going to get better here as he gets a little stronger. His frame's already, he's putting pounds on week by week, so it's fun to see how big he's getting.
3rd down and about 3. Stewartville up 19-0, 2:36 to go in the game. They'll try to move the sticks so that the time keeps going as well. Bancroft is going to come into the backfield, so now Abdi has a few lead blockers out there. Height. Oh, great push there by Pine Island to force the 4th down. You know, I'm going to gamble and say it was Schultz, but
It'd be a good guess, right?
Jackson Hudson, I think, was over there as well.
If we added Spencer's tackles and Schultz tackles together,
It would be more than the points that have been scored in this game,
it would. Yeah, that's a
which is 19.
that is a good way to look
A
at it.
defensive battle. And they're gonna probably take it all the way down and use a timeout. So here comes the count from the back judge. 1, 2, 3, 4, timeout. Start the bus's chance have already begun here, Coach. 1:40 to go. Great homecoming crowd here, Coach. Student section is filled all the way to the top. Parents, standing room only all the way down the line. Always great to see some of our former athletes come back. Have you gotten to see anybody that graduated that either saw you on your way down? I know up here it kind of limits how much you can interact with them because I hold you hostage.
I came up here early tonight just to kind of avoid the crowd, and so I didn't get to mingle as much as I normally would.
How about the parade? Did you get to the parade?
I didn't. I had to take I stayed home and gave the dog an extra hour of freedom.
Oh,
Instead of
what a guy.
yeah.
What
Was
doesn't he
it
do?
the dog's hour of freedom or was it my hour
Yeah,
of freedom?
fair enough. Did the girls bring us any candy that they got at the parade? That's the biggest question. Did the Meyer girls bring me any fruities?
We'll find some at
Yeah.
home. Yeah. Next week.
Huh? You got the real ones? Oh. We should probably bring that candy up and make sure that it's safe up here. So coming out, 4th down and 4, Stewartville's going to punt. They used every last second they could to try to burn time off. I think we got it around 4.5 minutes or something, so we burned about 3 minutes off, I think. Wong is back. This is where you send the house on a block,
this is where,
don't you think?
I mean, the punt block to me is the big momentum
Although
shifter.
was it you that was coaching or was it Coach Muller when you guys ran the fake punt at St. Charles, like deep in your own territory?
I think that was Coach Muller.
Okay, that's not something
yeah.
you would do. Fair catch there by Saylor. Oh, he dropped it! He falls back on it. Sawyer Wood was right there. 48-yard line is where Pine Island will start with 1:33 to go, trying to run down this 19-0 deficit that they have. Who was your special teams coach?
For the most part, I
Severson
took care of the special teams. It was always kind of my little baby. I
Sure.
had Coach Severson to take the defense. I had Coach Muller to take the offense, and
I guess you had
I had Steve Gibbs that did a lot of the game planning and helping me with kind of looking at personnel, and he definitely took care of the punting and kicking units. I always kind of like the return stuff more than anything else.
So we'll see Pine Island come back out. This is Adam Peterson and Coach Aaron Meyer on the call here that you're listening to. Appreciate y'all tuning in. The final 1:33 of this big game between two undefeated state-ranked teams, Pine Island and Stewartville. The Panthers are going to air that one out. Harstead through his hands. That's one of those things. I think it's Week's first year as a starting quarterback. He throws about 83 to 85 on the mound with his fastball velocity. Well, sometimes you got to take a little bit of juice off and throw a changeup, a little touch on it.
It's a hard thing as a quarterback to figure out because, I mean, it is a talented arm, right? Or it's a weapon that you have to throw the bullet. And sometimes it matters who you're throwing it to. Can the receiver catch that hard of a pass?
We've seen a lot of drop passes tonight. You wonder if there's any dew on the ground or if there's or what the cause is. We got two wide receivers to the near side, one to the far side. Tyne with Week, as Week's going to throw that one up. And two Tigers are over there. We got another interception. That one by Isaac Larson. Knoll number 9. He's our shutdown corner. He's been moving with Saylor all night, Coach. And there he just ran underneath it. He also had 14 coming across. Colin McGill was thinking his eyes were getting real big, but Larson was the one that came down with it as the goal rush. How many turnovers do we got? 3 interceptions and the fumble recovery from Grayson Schneider.
Sack, yep. And all different people getting in on the action there. So
Pine Island with 3 timeouts, 1:23 to go. So I would imagine 1 first down. Well, as long as you don't get it on the first play, but a first down or 2 is all Stewartville will need to end this game up 19-0. And hopefully we'll see the best formation in football. Alex Hain just 83 seconds away from calling Darlin Bakery and putting an order in for Monday.
There you go.
He's taking his headset off. So they must be pretty confident that maybe they can get this first down. We got to take care of the ball. We got to hold on to the ball. You got Dylan Scanlon out there. They're going to hand that one off to the left side. They're just going to try to push forward. I think he only gains about 1 on that.
We'll see if Pine Island burns a timeout or says.
Nope. Pine Island's taking their headsets off.
Yep. And knowing that, again, you don't want to put the cart in front of the horse or whatever you want to say, but maybe a second meeting at some point this season took away some good things.
I mean, Pine Island has to be coming out of this game with a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
I know it's going to hurt. I know this is the first loss, but the way their defense played and to hang with Stewartville, I mean, they made Stewartville look human tonight.
Yeah. And really, we could talk about a couple of drop passes, dropped interception. They had some chances that they could have made big plays. Stewartville, we could say the same thing. Stewartville had a couple drop passes, but good, well-played game by Pine Island. They should be proud of how they represented themselves tonight.
Coach Schultz had them prepared. I know there were some questions regarding the level of competition that they played in the first 3 weeks, but I think Pine Island proved that they belong in the upper echelon of teams, especially in our district and our section. And I imagine this isn't the last time that we'll see Pine Island in 2024 if all things go according to plan. But on this night, someone's O has got to go, and it's going to be the Panthers as they will move to 3-1, and Stewartville's regular season win streak is now now at 29 regular season games. Just incredible. Just incredible. Let me think. 18 game overall, but 29 regular season games. And this was another big hurdle that Coach Muller's team had to answer. If my headset wasn't on, I'd take my hat off to Coach Schultz and his defense and the way they played tonight. But there's another defense on the field that hung another 0. That's 8 straight quarters, Coach, without any score.
Yeah, and I think when you talk about, you hate the word repeat, but just looking at last year's team versus this year's team, the defense is where it looks similar. It looks kind of the same.
Yep.
And the offense, I feel like it's just coming a little bit more each week. When you play against a tougher defense like we saw tonight, maybe you don't feel like you took that extra step forward, versus how we played against Zumbrota. But, man, I just feel like with the defense that I'm watching week after week, it's going to take a really good football team to put up 3 or 4 scores on Stewartville. So it's fun for me to just be a part of it and watch it and kind of see these guys work and get better every week. But it sure is a good football team that we're starting to see come together.
Yeah, so just to run down this entire game, Dylan Scanlon, 1-yard touchdown run, 9:42 to go in the first quarter. That was off that fumble on the first drive for Pine Island, made it 6-0 Stewartville. 11:26 to go in the second quarter. Parker Wong on a 20-yard touchdown catch from Vince Wellick. That made it 13-0. That went into halftime. Parker Wongan would add a 35-yard field goal and a 27-yard field goal in the third quarter. That would make it 19-0. And Alex Haynes Gold Rush did everything else as they hung another donut. And Darlin Bakery is already getting the mix together, I'm sure, getting some extra glaze for the boys on Monday. It's going to be donut day on Monday. Tuesday, 2-slice Tuesday pizza. Wednesday, they got berry blends. Thursday, they got team meal. One of these days, they got to think about inviting us. But for now, you know who takes care of us. The old Down Under
DU,
coming through for
That's
us once
right.
again. Big thanks to our biggest supporters there at the DU, Mully, and the whole team that puts together great atmosphere and great food. But for us, that's going to do it here. Week number 4, the big matchup, not only in our section, but in the Southeast Red District. This puts Stewartville potentially on the 4-peat path. But we got some tough games coming up. Let's tell you about them. Pine Island will look to bounce back. They will be at home against Zumbrota Mazeppa. You would figure that the Panthers are going to be favored in that. The rest of the way, they got Rochester Lured. That's on the road. Then Plainview Elgin Millville at home in Week 7. And then a really tough matchup in Week 8 against Caledonia. That one is on the road. In terms of Stewartville, we are going to be taking on Lake City next week on the road. Then 2 home games, Plainview Elgin Millville, then Red Wing, and we finish the season off on Wednesday, October 16th against Rochester Lured Eagles. That's going to be at Rochester Regional Stadium. So Stewartville Tigers 4-0. Pine Island moves to 3-1. For Coach Aaron Meyer, Todd Lechtenberg on the camera. Big thanks to Kurt Hughes, athletic director, and Chris Queasley, the technology guru here in Stewartville, for helping us to stream this on YouTube the way they did, and all the support from administration. Really appreciate that. For Coach Aaron Meyer, I'm Adam Peterson. Stewartville wins this game over Pine Island 19-0. And Dan, if you're out there still listening, I hope we made you proud.